everybody. Welcome to a very normal stream. Feels like the news has settled down for what, like a couple weeks now. We'll be a little chill before Gamescom. Not much happening this week, man, but we're still gonna hang out. We're still gonna talk. Appreciate you all bearing with me. I know I was absent last Friday. I honestly just had a rare evening off, and I was like, if I skip streaming today, I said I'll actually like be able to kick my feet up for a little bit this weekend, which I haven't done in a good 2 or so weeks. So I was like, you know what? Body's calling for a recharge. So thanks for bearing with me. I apologize. I did not give anyone the 411 on that. But happy to be here now. Just want to say hello to the early birds. Dr. Muffin, Palmer's Burner, Mithu, welcome, Gio Gonzalez, and Anal Thunder in the building. Monkey Cam, I'll get to your super chat in a moment here. Thanks for doing that before the stream even began. Really appreciate you. Philip Burgess, what's going on, dude? Sage of the Six Gats, what's going on, bro? He says one day Matty will recognize my name. There you go. I got you. Element Nullify, welcome. Monkey Cam, hello. Hope you guys are doing well. Atomic Waffle is here. Spill Fiasco is here. Uncharted Wolf, welcome, Uncharted Wolf. Saw your comment on Summon Sign this week. Apparently I'm mogging in the Summon Sign chat. Oh no. Rion, good to see you, man. Zerification, what's going on? Hector, hello. Vicious, what's going on? Rodney, Tetrium, good to see you all here. Thanks so much for hanging out today. Like I said, it's been a little bit of a slower week, man. Still a little chill, you know? So we'll see. Maybe something will set on fire midstream. Nothing will ever beat when Phil Spencer quit midstream. That might have been the crown jewel this year. I don't know if anything will top that, where I just signed on this stream. I'm like, hey guys, I was gonna go live and talk about other things, but Phil quit. Splicer and Kylo Green in the building. What's going on, guys? Good to see you both. Devil Diabolical, thanks for being here. Let me just catch up with a couple of these super chats here, because I know some of y'all were writing in. Monkey Cam, thanks for your super chat pre-stream, dude. Really nice of you. Since you have communications with Bethesda Game Studios, is there any way you could ask about full Fallout 4 creations on PS5? Starfield has them, but not their bigger titles. I can definitely add it to the list. As you saw with my video, I don't know if Bethesda will give me a straight answer, but can definitely clock this in for you and see what happens. I like to build up a list because I don't want to like ping pong back and oops, sorry, I hit the mic. I don't want to ping pong back and forth with the context I do have. It's better just to be like, here's my list of questions and then get a bulk of answers. So I can write that down though. Let me do that right now, actually. Hang on. OneNote, my favorite application for just jotting down some quick thoughts. Okay, so you want to know about full Fallout 4 creations on PS5 because Starfield has them, but not their bigger titles. No problem, Monkey Cam. Thanks for writing in about that. I appreciate it. Do you think this route will lead to the advancement in PlayStation emulators? And if so, how do you think Sony will react to this? I didn't think about that last part. The answer is absolutely. I mean, we saw people ramping up PS5 emulation. If that's what you're talking about there, I think Sony's going to go after them. The question is, will they go after classic emulation? You know, Nintendo did that, right? Like the 3DS emulation stuff just got like shut down pretty hardcore. And from there, like there's no digital storefront, and it's like, okay, Nintendo, are we going to be able to buy these things? It's like, it's weird because like no one's really benefiting in this case. So I definitely foresee PlayStation going after emulation for sure. ROM sites, all that stuff. I definitely think that's like their next step. Probably in line with like PS6 news, you know. I think that's what they're going for. Just a guess, though. I could be wrong. 3DS emulation still pretty strong right now. What am I thinking of then? What did Nintendo go after? Didn't they shut down? Was it Wii U? What was it? Was it Citra? I'm trying to remember. I thought or maybe they went after games. It might have just been games. I apologize. The emulator itself might be fine. I might be misremembering, but good question here. I imagine Sony will go after it. ROM site got shut down last year. Switch, that's what it was. Yeah, so I guess newer stuff, things that they'll make money on, Switch emulation. Oh, right, it was, what was it, Yuzu or something like that? Yeah, I never messed with that. I think they also went after, did they go after, was it Delta, like the phone stuff? Nintendo will go after mods or fan-made remasters, but not emulators. Thank you, Spicer. Okay, yeah, I was just misremembering. Anyway, I think Sony will go after stuff, for sure. You mentioned not wanting to pour 100 plus hours at the moment into Rogue Trader. Dark Heresy will be much shorter, 40 to 60 hours, and focused on reactivity. Interesting. I thought that Rogue Trader was focused on reactivity. Rogue Trader is a game I'm going to make time for. I think I'm actually going to play it this year with the Switch 2 version. That was the thing I was kind of hoping for, and I'm glad it's a real thing. Hang on. I need my glasses. Oh, God. He's stunting. Honestly, though, it's just like my eyes are like strained as fuck. I was working on a lot of documents. Before this stream, I was working on defining Duke and then getting this document ready for this show and getting Retro Rebound live. So, yeah, been a busy early afternoon, but it was my fault. I got up super late today. But, yeah, this is good to hear, man. I'm really excited for Owlcat's future. I feel like I wonder if they're going to, like, move on from Warhammer into, like, another, like, I always think they'd be a great fit for, like, classic Fallout. Yo, Maddie, you look like Troy Baker with glasses on. I'll take the compliment. Troy Baker's a good-looking dude. Thank you, Super West. Appreciate your super chat. Joshua Brookman, thank you for your super chat. AA RPG studio Dare to Dream Games formed. Nicholas Lietzu and Marvin Kopp, lead writer and composer of Enderal, respectively joined. RPG set in Lietzu, I'm totally butchering the pronunciation of that word, so I apologize. 12th World book set for 2027-2028 reveal. Interesting. Well, Enderal is fantastic. We did a whole video on that. Enderal kicks ass. So that definitely bodes well. See, this is why mods can be good. You can get your foot in the door in the industry. Looking forward to learning more on that. Where did Maddie go? I see Mr. Handy play. I get what you're saying, Cole76 Gaming. Warhammer is an interesting subject for me because it's like, I can't consider myself a fan. I don't know shit about the lore, but I find it interesting in context with the games I'm playing. But I don't get into the tabletop stuff, the books, any of that, because I know it just runs so deep. It's such a commitment, right? But Warhammer Rogue Trader, that's one that looks just like really up my alley. So I just want to play that. And again, I'm really looking forward to that Switch 2 version. Mr. Matty, stream while I'm at the gym. Hell yeah. I'm envious of you. I scheduled my day horribly today, so I've been sitting all day. So I just feel I've been doing mobility exercises. I think I really need to start building muscle, though. It's, like, not just like, oh, I just want to look jacked, but, like, I'm just getting these small, like, tweaks and injuries that have never happened before. I mean, I'm also 31 now, so I guess, like, I refuse to accept it's an age thing now. I'm like, I think I'm just kind of weak right now. So I envy you. Enjoy your exercise. Thanks for letting me join you while you're at the gym, dude. Appreciate you. What's your thoughts on Creation Engine 3 using tech similar to Unreal Engine 5 like Lumen? The only thing we know that they made it to do streaming assets faster. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Creation Engine 3, you'd hope... Again, my thought process is that I think Bethesda made a mistake calling Starfield's engine Creation Engine 2. I really struggle to buy into it given conversations I've recently had with some modders where I'm realizing that Creation Engine 2 is like very unfinished. There's things that are worse about it than the original version, as we know, given the amount of mods that have come out for Skyrim, for example, versus Starfield, where like modding was really difficult. And so I kind of view it as a 1.5, and they're finishing that transition with Creation Engine 3, which is technically Creation Engine 2. I say that because also like Todd Howard talked about how they were trying to make Starfield while moving their engine forward. And it was interesting to learn, I forgot where I read this, but like Neon, for example, in Starfield was supposed to be just one map. And obviously we know Neon is like one of the worst examples of Starfield. Like it's just broken up into just too many cells. Like it just needs to be much more open-ended. And so my hope is that they figure out a way where they hide their loading screens, where like if you interact with, like, let's say the level is unloaded, like they break up their space into multiple levels. Let's talk about an interior space, like a house within one of their cities in Elder Scrolls 6. That house won't be loaded in when you enter the city, which might need a loading screen. I don't know. But maybe it's once you open the door and you like press A, it initiates a load that streams those assets back in. That could eliminate some load screens and create something more seamless. I think that'd be a huge advancement for them. There is talk about detail with things close to the camera. I really wonder what that's going to be. Digital Foundry talked about that pretty briefly. Mods have been hiding the loading screens. Yeah, so that's another example. It's been possible with older renditions of their engine, and I imagine they're going to try to learn from that. Again, given the complaints at Starfield, one of the best things they can say during Elder Scrolls 6 marketing is classic on-foot Bethesda Game Studios experience, no load screens. Like, I think that would go a really long way for those who have been very upset with Bethesda Game Studios. I think there will be graphical progression. Of course, there always is with their engine upgrades. I think Starfield does have a graphical upgrade. It's just compared to the rest of the industry, it's not good. With them Unreal Engineifying stuff, I hope they don't lose a visual identity that I do think Bethesda games have. Like, they have nice looking world spaces. Their characters, on the other hand, not as nice. But I'm hoping this can lead to a more respectable visual palette for them. You know, and that they don't get shown up by their competitors. But there's also so many like active objects in the world that, you know, have like physics and whatnot that you can pick up and touch, and to render all of that as well, that's always going to lead to some sort of detraction somewhere that I don't think people fully comprehend or are willing to accept, would probably be the better way of explaining it. So Creation Engine 3, I'm not like, you know, until I see it in action, there's nothing I can really say about it. But they're keeping the answers on CE3 really close to the chest. I mean, I think there's a reason why they're not talking about what Obsidian's using as well. So it definitely is anyone's guess right now. A good question. Thank you. Oh shit, he's starting to drip. Thank you, Sick Carnage. I appreciate it. Way of the Loud. Hi, I hope you're doing well. Thank you. I am. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys just super chatting like this. I'm building an Invisible Woman model kit while watching you. Well, now. Shout out to Invisible Woman. I used her a lot in Marvel Rivals. Very, very good support champion. Or whatever you want to call her. Hero. Whatever. Really good. Model kits is something I've never really tried. It's always scared me. Very intimidating. I remember buying what I thought was a Mega Man X like statue. And I was so excited because it looked sick. And it was a model kit. And I returned it. So I was like, I am not built for this life. So respect to you, Mithu. Best of luck. First time joining the stream. Michael Grayson, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Super West, Maddie. You would make a great Higgs. Yeah, I got to play Death Stranding too, honestly. I believe you're referring to Death Stranding. I had to quickly double check it on Google. I was like, Higgs? What the fuck is... Oh, yeah. He's barely in the first game. I don't know what he's like in the second game. Feeling a bit guilty. I bought digital in the last year just from being lazy. Switched my Wolverine to physical. I don't think you got to feel guilty, man. Like, there's no... I don't point the finger at the consumer because I think enough people are showing up for physical for it to continue to exist. I think this is PlayStation trying to rip the Band-Aid off and get that last 25-ish, like on average, percentage out because they're not really giving up, and this is the only way to get them to transfer over. So, because I think they know a lot of people care more about the hobby than physical, and there is some truth to that, you know. I am very passionate about physical. I think I made that super obvious, but I definitely care about gaming a little bit more. But I also care about the preservation of art. But I wouldn't feel guilty, dude. Like, it's not your fault for buying games in a way that you thought worked for you. I think we all knew physical was trending out. I don't think it's ready to go out yet. We'll talk about that. Don't worry. I don't think it's ready to go out though. But also, You know, man, like it's coming down to greed. Like that, I think that's the main reason people are up in arms. It's coming down to greed. It's like these types of things could. Hang on one sec. Let me mute. My mom's calling me, and she usually doesn't call me when I'm on stream. So give me one sec, guys. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. Everything's good. My mom had like a thing on her nose that was like precancerous, and she was just calling to let me know she's all good. So good news. Sorry about that. Like I was talking about though, corporate greed. Yeah, it was definitely like a, I don't know, dude. Like just like that's what it reads like to I think a lot of people where this is just marginal stuff, and it's not like we've really gone to the effort of addressing other key issues in our industry like game scope, which is it's impacting timeline. This can't speak. It's infecting. I keep saying infecting, impacting timelines, but also how much staff is needed for a project, and it's bloating the budget and it's bloating game prices, which feel unsustainable to these publishers. And I feel like I'm just in this camp by myself of like, I didn't ask you guys to make like $200 million games. So I think until those things are addressed, it's the same kind of tune I was singing with Xbox. When Xbox went all platforms, everyone was like, well, they, you know, the budgets, like they've got to sell more copies. And I'm like, target the budgets then. You can still make a ton of money. Look at how much money some of these indie games are making, AA games are making. Target the budget. Let's see here. Fabrice Paul. I think if Obsidian makes Fallout with Creation Engine 3, Xbox will transform them into a spin-off studio for Fallout and Elder Scrolls for a long time. That's the dangerous thing. Right now, Obsidian's okay. They're doing a lot of other things. And I think that's why Avowed 2 can be very important to them, because they feel like it's their chance at maybe not just being the Fallout spin-off studio. It would guarantee them some sort of future, no doubt about it. But I also really like Obsidian because they try a lot of new things. So it's a delicate balance. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, this definitely could be. I mean, that's the thing I said is when this new Fallout game comes out and when it inevitably, I think, sells well, what happens to Obsidian and all these other little things they're working on? Saint, I did see the Double Fine news. Yeah, not too surprised by that they'd have to downsize a little bit after everything had occurred. Yeah, the argument falls flat when you consider how much money Sony has wasted on live service garbage. That too. It's like you guys wasted your own money and now you pass on the negative stuff to the consumer and you keep people employed like Herman Holst, who thought that was going to be their next Star Wars. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, it's not our problem. That's why I just keep telling people. It's like, it's not our problem. It shouldn't be our problem. We shouldn't have to deal with the fallout from their terrible choices. Jordan, thank you for your very generous super chat. Hey, Maddie. I know what you do takes effort and can be stressful. You're doing great. I would like to see... Thank you. Jeez. That's very nice. I would like to see Starfield get... It sounded like you were warming you up to, like, for criticism. I was like, okay, what do we got? I would like to see Starfield get something close to a 2077 moment. Adding handcrafted content. If so, I'd go back to it. Be well. Thank you, Jordan. Yeah, I'd like to see Cyberpunk continue to get update... Cyberpunk. My brain's all scattered, clearly. Starfield get updates... over time that bring it to that kind of 2.0 phase. I don't know if that's like the long-term goal, you know, like if that's really what they want to do. It felt like their big swing was the PS5 re-release with Terran Armada and everything going on there, Free Lanes update. And it didn't really move the needle much for Starfield. Like we saw the last time they accounted for players a couple of years ago versus 17 million now. I think it's only been a few million new players. So that PS5 launch didn't do a whole lot for them, especially if estimates were to be believed. Starfield was not tracking super well on PS5. So I think they're going to be very careful with how much they invest resources wise into it, because I think they all know everyone's waiting on Elder Scrolls and Fallout. and now they're pre-producing Fallout more aggressively. So yeah, man, like I don't know if Starfield's going to hang around a super long time, but at least they're committed to doing Starborn stuff, which I think is good because that was teased in the end of the game. And so I feel like there are some answers they could give there. We shall see where it all goes. Sage of Six Gats asks, when reviewing / breaking down a story of a game, how did you build up your lenses / reviewing skills? Love the way you articulate things. Books or... really fucking great question, dude. Thanks for asking this, and I appreciate the compliment. First off, I think there's a lot of reviewers who do it really well. Skill Up, I think Jake Baldino does it really well too. There are a lot of great reviewers. Carrick does a great job articulating his thoughts too. I think two things. One, I don't try to abide by a script. I try to abide by bullet points. So when I'm talking about it like you're a friend, and I'm trying to tell you about a game that you'd be interested in. I think there's kind of this high level way of describing it. Like I remember when I watched as a teenager Rev 3 games and Adam Sessler would review games, he would use a mind-boggling style of vocabulary that made him sound very intelligent. And for me, as just a casual viewer in high school, I was kind of like, this seems a little over the top, but also this guy's so smart, it feels like he knows what he's talking about, and I feel more convinced by what he's saying here. So to me, I learned from that a little bit, where I was like, there's an intelligent way to communicate it without, I think, trying to make myself sound smarter, if you will. And I mean, that is no insult to Adam Sessler. My point being is like, that was one thing that stood out to me and kind of started to form my thoughts a bit. Watching IGN for a while in my high school years, I think I also learned that their kind of short form review style did not really gel well with me. Carrick taught me to be more definitive. I remember I was having an issue with my reviews, and it's because I kind of presented them as questions a lot of the time. And Carrick was like, be more declarative. Next review you do, make it a statement. It was the best advice I ever got. Like, it really was. Ever since I became more like confident and declarative, I've felt better about my reviews and what I actually want to say. So I think that kind of is the mental hurdle. And then for the actual story breakdown stuff, I think it helps to inform yourself on other mediums for sure. For me, I felt my reviewing skills improved a lot when I started to watch movies and read more books, because I was just strictly in games and how game stories were told. But as I started to watch movies, and sometimes movies kind of just leave you, like they want to leave you with a feeling. You kind of get more into the directorial mindset, I feel, a bit with movies, and sort of what this individual wanted to accomplish, where the game is like a sum of so many different parts. It's technical, it's gameplay, it's story, it's performance. There's so many things that come together in that. And so I think watching a lot of movies really, like, and I'm talking like the greatest hits kind of movies, like a Blade Runner, one of my favorite movies ever, the Final Cut specifically. You know, like seeing how stories are told, starting to understand your taste better that way. Like, why did that resonate? I think if you just keep asking yourself why until you get to the bottom, that helps me articulate my thoughts. You know, because it always starts off at like your general reaction. Damn, that was good. That fucking sucked, dude. Right? It starts there. Why did Saints Row? I'll think of that one. Why? Like, I played Saints Row. I remember like beating it. I was like, that shit fucking blew, dude. Why? Okay, bugs, glitches. Okay, what if you patch those? Why does it still suck? Well, the way it's perceived as a franchise is very different now. Why? Very millennial style writing. Why again? To appeal to a group that is not the same core fan base. And you just keep going why until you have nothing left to say. And then I list that in a set of bullet points, right? And I think that works both ways. Let me think of a story I love, KOTOR. Why do you love KOTOR? Because it starts off as a classic Star Wars tale. Why? But then it subverts your expectations because it's medieval, and it's also a love story, but it doesn't deliver it as such. Why is that? Its story structure is kind of like horizontal instead of like forward. So you start here and you think you're going there into this light side, dark side tale, but it actually sidesteps into something much more personal while still having a galactic impact. Again, just keep asking yourself why. You know, it's all the whys. That's the best advice I think I can give you. And then just, I think as you do it more, it's like anything, dude. It is a skill that you develop as you do it more. And like, you know, Letterboxd or whatever, like writing your thoughts and on things you've consumed and breaking it down and just treat it like you're talking to a friend. And that takes some pressure off of trying to sound, I think, too smart And I think you're kind of in this nice pocket. At least that's how I like to do it. 37 years of gaming, 2,200 books, generations of consoles, and thousands of games, a collection of movies. I started collecting when I was 11. I still don't understand why I like what I like. Sometimes it's also that simple. Sometimes you just like things, you know? That's okay. Anyway, I hope I answered this. Ariammer, welcome. Happy to finally catch another stream. Welcome back. Thanks for being here. JCMC is king. Yo, I've been almost exclusively retro gaming for the past 6 months, playing Final Fantasy VII and Spyro. Nice, the real version. I'm so we got a real one in the chat here on the OG PlayStation. Will you help me pick my next game? I have a bracket. Sure, yeah. Feel free to write in chat. Let me know what your candidates are. I'm always happy to help. I love answering those questions. How about no? Thank you for your super chat. Love the Spider-Man video. I feel the game took 1 step forward, 2 step back, but my big issue are the story, the annoying podcast. Oh my God, I forgot to mention that in the video. I can imagine that's all the comments. The podcast. Miles suits ugly and the MJ missions. Who buys a Spider-Man game to play as MJ? See, I defend the MJ missions a little bit. I thought they were a nice breakup in Spider-Man 1. Like, oh, she's capable and oh, she's interesting, and it kind of melds together just right. But I think Spider-Man 2 just tries to balance too many things. So it definitely comes in with a lot of issues. Glad you enjoyed the video, though. Thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun breaking that one down. That's the other thing. To answer the question earlier about reviewing stuff, sometimes there is a digestive process that some reviews you'll be afforded that. Like with Halo Campaign Evolved, I had a lot of time to sit with my thoughts. They gave it to us really early. And there are some games where they're like, you got to beat this and break it down quickly. Enjoy the review process where you have time to like beat it and let it sit with you, because for example, Spider-Man is a game that I definitely rushed my review the first go around, and I don't regret what I said in it, but definitely on a second go around and like sitting with that game a little bit more, I was like, there's a lot of it's a good game, but there's a lot of problems here, man. And so digesting your opinion is another big part of it, and you can't really accelerate that. There's just certain things you have to anticipate about your own taste, and I think that's where personal understanding comes from. Again, just keep asking yourself why. Did you see Gamescom, or Fable is going to be at Gamescom? I did. Very exciting to know we're going to be getting more, because you have to treat it this way, right? Like, their marketing is obviously ramping up for a February launch, but they were supposed to be coming out this year, so I imagine they're hitting all the expected beats this year. Tactical Wolf, welcome. Been here for over a decade. Happy to hear that, man. Thanks for hanging. Jay Plays Casual, thank you for your generous super chat here. PlayStation being sidetracked and doubling down on live service shows that they are just disconnected from their fan base. If all digital is the future, PlayStation or Xbox are prepared for it. In my opinion, the long term isn't looking good. Yeah, man, like, you just can't have your services going out for, like, in Xbox's case, like 20 hours. You know? Think about that. Like, you, like, put that 10 years in the future. Think about that. It's terrible. And a lot of people are like, it's so funny. I'll talk about this in our slop discussion later. A lot of people were like, well, it's obviously hackers, bro. Like, what's the big fucking deal? Like, because I said on Twitter, I was like, oh, like the universe is telling us something. And like, people were like, oh, universe, it's hackers. I'm like, does that make it better that like just random people were like, we're going after a megacorp and taking down the services? Look how easy it is. Like, I don't know, bro. I'm like, I don't think it makes it much better. Like, oh, we know it might have been hackers. It's like, okay, so even worse. They got taken down that easily in that quick a time. They have no protection. Not good. So yeah, I agree. It feels very disconnected from, it just feels money motivated. Again, they want their Star Wars with Concord. They want, you know, full dollar amount per game sale, even if it means cutting out like a 20% tile of their base. Fuck that, dude. Dynasty Warrior 13. Love the name. What's up, Maddie? I know how much you love Dead Space. Did you ever get into the Little Nightmare games? Any interest in End of the Abyss, given it looks like those two games had a baby? Appreciate you, man. All right. We got our first random game recommendation of the stream. Let's see here. Let's see this game I have never heard of. End of Abyss game. You got me a Dead Space. I've not played, to answer your question, Little Nightmares. Let's see here. It's on the Epic Game Store. Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. Looks solid. Looks solid. I don't know if I'm jumping out of my seat for it, but looks good. Good suggestion. Chief Adam. With the outages of Xbox and PlayStation becoming more and more apparent, the industry isn't ready for an all-digital future. Power's out, so going to the White Sox game. Much love from Chicago. Hey, that's a great fucking alternative, dude. Have fun. Have fun, man. That's cool. That is super, super cool. Enjoy. Yeah, it doesn't feel like we're ready. You know? I don't know if I'd be super accepting even if we were ready, just given the reasoning that's happening, but it's just icing on the cake, right? Very much icing on the cake. So, completely agree. Completely agree. Maddie, are you a fan of Daniel Mullen's games? Oh, yeah. My wife loves Inscription. That's one I want to really check out. My art director was talking about Pony Island as well. A lot of good stuff there. Oh, I missed some super chats. Virgil, thank you for the shouts here. Let's catch up. I'm sorry to anyone whose super chats I missed. Let's see here. Who did I miss? Okay, sorry. T. Christos, I missed yours. In AAA games, physical sales are 10 to 30%, but money made from going digital greater than money lost on those who leave. A physical customer is about half of a digital customer after cost. Is this a losing battle? No, because again, my argument is that it can still be, I mean, these companies can make money on it in an interesting way, first of all, but it's supposed to be a limited thing at this point. I think that's where it can exist, just like vinyls, just like, I don't know, books are super limited, but the point being is like, there is a limited run of it. And if you really want to go gung-ho, if you're PlayStation, you're thinking like, what makes the most money? I would argue, okay, sell the game digitally after launch, physical edition, full game on the disc. It charge it a little bit more, maybe throw in like one little goodie, and you'll get a bunch of people who are going to double dip. Like, you know, so yeah, it definitely feels like a losing battle in a lot of ways, but I think there's ways around that absolutely can and should exist. I think that was the main super chat I missed. Okay. Thank you for the call out there. I appreciate it. All these games out, and I find myself playing Dark Alliance 2 co-op with my wife. I hate how rare couch co-op is these days. Great fucking pick, Chris. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 is an amazing game. Sounds like you grew up with like a similar ARPGs that I did, like Dark Alliance 1 and 2. What was the other game? Champions Return to Arms, Champions Return to Norath. I wonder if they're still going to do ports of those. Definitely a good pick here, but I don't blame you, man. I think that's what's very interesting about today's industry is everyone's just kind of going in their own direction, right? Like we see like the big three started at one point to go in their own direction, like PlayStation doing this sort of whatever the fuck, Xbox at one point going multi-plat, now kind of coming back to being more of a core gaming business, and Nintendo always marching to the beat of their own drum, but keeping things about as normal as you could ask for in today's very erratic industry. So yeah, man. And then you see these games just all like riffing off each other. You know, we just looked at like a Dead Space cross Little Nightmares thing. Like just a lot of interesting stuff happening. Couch co-op games are great though. Very important to me growing up. Christopher AO2, are you going to see the new Spider-Man Friday? I'm really hyped. Reviews saying it's almost as good as Toby's Spider-Man 2. I did catch someone saying that online. I am all over it this weekend. Yes, absolutely. When did I buy my tickets for? Let me peep real quick. Because my wife and I had to reschedule our tickets. Sorry, I'm scrolling through so many flippin' emails. Here we are. Yeah, I'm going at 9:45. The technically the night it comes out, the 30th. We outside. It's gonna be sick. I cannot wait. So that'll be a good time. Mr. Handy Plays, Bartholomew Joseph the 13th. The fuck, bro? Persona absorbed my life. 50 hours into Persona 3 Reload. I'll be back for my third semester in P5R. Really didn't think I'd be so absorbed. Now take my money. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take your money. This is the least you could do after I put you on some peak. I'm kidding, but enjoy, for real. These are life-changing games. Persona 3, 4, and 5. So good. So good. What's the ETA for the modder interview you mentioned? Looking forward to it. I have to schedule it still. I got the like agreement as in like they're interested, and so I have to get back to them and schedule when that would be. I also have to kind of figure out, I'm going away for Gamescom, and I'm trying to balance like creating content in advance versus what I want to release sooner rather than later. So I'm still figuring some of that stuff out. So just bear with me a little bit here. But you should have it this month, I would imagine. JCMC is king. Okay. This is the first category here. First time playthroughs, played some parts of some but never beat. The first category, Vibrant Fantasy, Azuric. I've never heard of that. Sudeki, I know we've heard about in chat. A lot of people really like that. Or Fable, only one will advance. Fable's my pick. I mean, I'm most familiar with Fable of the bunch here, but Fable's also just like, oh my god. Make sure it's Fable: The Lost Chapters. You know, the this bad boy right here. Or you can play the Anniversary edition on 360. Do I have that physical? Yeah, of course. Of course I do. Who am I kidding? This is HD remaster of Fable: The Lost Chapters. Lost Chapters, like, I think Fable 1 is very complete, but Lost Chapters, like, I can't imagine playing the game without it. It's just such a great story, such great choice. Really, really holds up well in a lot of ways. Really good physical representation of your choices, like your skill, strength, will, good and evil. Like, all of that becomes visible on your character, so pay attention to that as you progress. But just, that would be my pick, dude. Fable, and I'm sure the chat will let you know how great Fable is. Fable 1 is a all-time classic. Yeah, Darth Monkey says the NPCs are unhinged in Fable. That too. You gotta have them do some wild things with them. Dynasty Warrior. Sorry for another. Don't apologize. You guys are supporting the stream, man. Thank you. But if the physical situation doesn't change, could you see yourself picking up and playing more third-party games on Switch? There it is. Indeed. Yeah, dude. I mean, I guess I feel very lucky. I've never cared a lot about frame rate and fidelity because I've done so much backlog gaming and retrospective gaming really my whole life when I think about it. But yeah, like what I said was basically this: own what you can where it makes sense. Like if you're gonna full boycott PlayStation, I don't blame you. But with things like on Switch too, if it's fully physical there, like there's plenty of examples of games fully physical on Switch, or at one point fully physical on PS5, that are digital everywhere else, basically, or license keys everywhere else. So I would say own what you can first. But when it comes to like where I'm purchasing, like on different platforms, yeah, dude, like I'm definitely thinking over, like if I want Marvel Tokon, like I'm not giving PlayStation their full cut. Like if anything, I'll get it on Steam, which I know like a lot of people like, you're still getting some money. My point being is, like, again, trying to purchase as strategically as you can. You know, game like Marvel Tokon, server based, it's always online. But I don't know if I'm buying it yet. The only reason I don't know is because when I played the beta for a little bit on Steam, I was like, I don't know if my brain's ready to commit to this yet. But also, I enjoy fighting games mostly with friends. I don't really enjoy riding solo with them. I just like hopping in lobbies and playing. But yeah, I could definitely see myself doing, I mean, I said this before, that I'm doing more third-party Switch stuff. Switch has been such a game changer system for me. I just love that thing so much, and especially because now the Switch 2 is powerful enough to run certain games. So I adore my Switch 2. So yeah, any chance I get to add to that collection, I usually take it, which is why I'm really excited about Rogue Trader on Switch 2, because that is I think, full game on cart with the DLC, or at least Season 1, and I just can't wait. So that'll be good. Jackalope, thank you for your super chat. I found myself replaying a lot of old games lately. I just finished Fable now, and I'm replaying Bully. Really enjoyed the live streams. They always help me get through the workday. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm happy to help you through a workday here. Bully has just aged so incredibly well, man. Like, there's nothing more cathartic than just, like, throwing teachers in lockers, just being the bully. But just the amount of types of people you can bully in this game. Learning how to fight from a hobo, riding a bike through town, beating up a bunch of, like, elves on Christmas Day for a Christmas mission. Just, dude, we don't see enough demand for Bully 2, and for that, I will forever hate GTA 6. That and Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2 is amazing, but like we really got robbed of Bully 2, and it's unbelievable. Bully 2 would be more transformative than, actually I shouldn't say that. That's extreme. I think a Bully 2 could be as transformative for culture as a GTA. Like, I really do think it can be. In today's day and age where, like, cyberbullying is a very real thing, bullying is still a thing that people grapple with. We talk about it more. And here's this game that's kind of sensationalizing being the bully and Jimmy Hopkins turning into a good guy. Dude, that would be amazing nowadays. A Bully sequel would be crazy. At least we're getting, what was it, Age-Field, Rock the School or whatever, you know? I can't play Bully. I'm an empath. You should try it anyway. You could Bully. You're not an asshole all game. You know, Jimmy Hopkins is a really, like, he's got a great character growth. He's really, really good. So you're not just like a dick, you know, to people and like making them feel like shit. It's within reason. They actually handle it with some good taste. Valinor Tree. Why do you think Valve/Steam get off scot-free on the physical to digital transformation of the industry? I don't know if they get off scot-free per se. It's more so that there are games that if you buy them there is a sense of digital ownership, and there's also the ability to refund games. There's the ability to, without it being a complete hassle, there's the ability to gift games. Like, there's a more secure digital storefront there, which I think has at least consumers somewhat protected. I think some people just also have like massive ecosystems built up there. But ultimately, I think it's just like PCs have done away with physical so long ago. And I mean, I don't know if the last time anyone saw a physical copy of a PC game. I can understand why we went like digital for that, because of how fucking like huge they were. Like, you know, Baldur's Gate 2 or Fallout, like they come in these bulky things. But yeah, actually Last of Us put it really well too. Store persists over a generation. Steam was never a system that sold physical. There's a couple of reasons, right? Like, I see a lot of people trying to use Steam as this sort of beat stick. I just don't agree with it, because I don't think it's really comparable. We're talking about the console space, which has always benefited from accessibility and affordability. PCs were always high-level access, but now that gap has narrowed, where I see why people draw the comparisons, but I don't know if it really is fair. And so ultimately, you have more digital ownership on PC right now, especially with things like GOG, so you can have access to those other launchers while you're on your PC with Steam. So there's a couple of reasons why they get away with it, so to say. At least in my opinion. Baldur's Gate 2 will reign again. Yes. Yes, indeed. And one day I will finally play it. Last physical PC game I purchased was Cyberpunk. I didn't even... Oh, yeah, they did do a physical run of that. GTA 5 was on 7 discs. That's crazy. The craziest physical copy I've got is right here for 360. Oh, my God. There you go. That kind of spoils it. Disc 1. 2. 3. Yes, for real. 4. It's crazy, dude. This is a crazy, crazy ass Xbox 360 game. Can you imagine? We hear PlayStation bitching and moaning behind the scenes about margins, and here's a game that printed 6 fucking discs, and it has the audacity to have a fully illustrated manual. But profit margins. I don't want to fucking hear it anymore, dude. I don't want to hear it anymore. We used to get so much. People are just comfortable with accepting less. Like, it's, man. It's like that's not even an outlier, dude. There's so many physical games that have like insane booklets that they came with. At least maybe with this new disc to digital system that Xbox is doing for back compat stuff, we'll finally get Lost Odyssey on PC. There's something there. Like, hey, you know what? Where is it? Okay. Can you imagine Bethesda Game Studios? I can't fucking find it. Here we go. Oh, man, here's my physical copy that's got this nice cover art. And, oh, man, 2 discs. And you're telling me I got to do extra plastic so that I can have a DLC on disc 2? And, oh, man, I got to do this fucking manual, too. And, oh, we got to illustrate it so that it brings things to life. Oh, man. Guys, the money, the profit margins. You're telling me we got to do a whole fucking map? Like, this is why I crash out every time it comes up. I'm like, we used to get so much more. It's not even fucking close. Ay. I'm realizing my shelves are out of order here. Hang on. There we go. I don't have Red Dead Redemption 2 physically. I do have the first one. Here we are. Game of the Year edition. Oh, man. Poor Rockstar. These profit margins. Yeah. What's this manual looking like? Oh, they spent money on the ink. How could they do this to their bottom line, bro? How could they? And I saw people writing in chat. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to come with a map. Mine doesn't. Yeah. What somebody think of the shareholders? Digital advocates don't seem to bring up the checks and balances of physical retailers. Physical is mostly cheaper day one in Australia and provides options. Yeah, I think it's a lot of US-based data that's flying around, and because the US is like the biggest consumer base, right? And next to China, or I think sometimes China completely overrides us in games like, Black Myth Wukong. But like, I think a lot of it is US central data. And that is part of what's the missing point is like some people will call it, anecdotal or cherry picked or outliers, but it's like regional data matters in the scheme of things. Global data matters in the scheme of things. So I think physical retailers are also important because, again, we just need a low. We talk about the pricing like, man, we really need to make consoles more affordable. We see these fucking these corporate pieces of shit just sitting there just like, yeah, we really need to figure out like how to make this more accessible for gamers, as you cut out one of the most easiest ways to access games, which was the secondhand market. I would not be here if not for the secondhand market, like, truth be told. Claw 117, good to see you again, man. I wish North America, not sure about EU, Lost Odyssey release had a bigger case like the Japan release for that 4th disc instead of a separate sleeve. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I'll have to look into that. Add to my Lost Odyssey collection. Very cool. Thank you for letting me know about that. I can't give players $3.74 worth of physical material, then I wouldn't be able to hire Jack Quaid. Would you think of the Hollywood actors and actresses that want to crack into this industry because they see how much money it makes? Would you think about this industry trying to not get little broed by Hollywood, even though it makes significantly more money in it? Would you just think of that for a moment? Please, my God. The only physical PC games I have are KOTOR 1 and 2. Man, everyone stand up and just... Come on now. Come on now. A round of applause right there for Chief Adam. That's all you need. That's all you need in life. I'm waiting for Brad to play Lost Odyssey. Brad's got a long list of games to play, man. We got to get Brad on KOTOR. He admitted again on our latest episode of Summon Sign he has not played KOTOR. I was like, all right, it's chill, bro. It's chill. Don't worry about it, Brad. Lost Odyssey on his list too, though. It's kind of crazy. That's like the true Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, Josh M, I feel you on the comparisons with Hollywood. It's like, I think LD put it really well in one of his videos. Like, they mocapped the cube because they thought it'd be fun. I was like, bro, just like, and we're paying the price for this shit? Like, the fuck is this? All right, St. Jan, thank you for your super chat. Maddie, I'm really contemplating getting into Power World. What's the scoop? Want to take this on the go? Okay. So basically, keep in mind that it's very Pokemon inspired, but it's also just as much a survival game. So as someone who's not a big fan of like the survival crafting genre, I think it's a pretty big endorsement that I have fun with what's here. because there's just so many other systems at work. Like the catching Pokemon thing isn't just building out a cute creature collection so that you fill out a Pokedex, right? Which I've never found, even since I was a kid when I loved Pokemon. I never found maxing out the Pokedex like super validating. What I do like, though, is capturing these specific monsters who have their own like passive effects and putting them to work to help me build my base. Now they've got purpose in and out of combat. Really good shit. Something that Pokemon's missing. So it's all kind of like it naturally meshes together, but I really enjoy Power World, man. Like 1.0 definitely cleaned up a lot of my issues. The UI is still extremely primitive. But otherwise, like, it's a really good time in co-op. It sounds like you want to take this on the go. Steam Deck version's good, from what I've seen online. But like, I would definitely recommend playing with a friend if you can, because I think it just adds so much to the experience, just running around that world, catching monsters together. They've added a story. They've added boss fights. The gunplay goes crazy. The weapons that you unlock are fucking insane as well. Like, Power World's a really good time, man. It's a straight up just fun factor video game. It's not going to net you in with any crazy world building or character work. It's just like fun ridiculousness. Like, there is that clip. Oh my god, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. This will sell you on the game. What was it? Let's see. Okay. I found the clip. I'm trying to find it with the... I'm trying to find it with like the actual like audio from the video it was from. Let's see if it was in the replies. Hang on. Okay, I found it. This will sell you on Power World, all right? Here we go. Hang on. Let me mute the music, and I got to hear this for myself because it gets me every time. Okay, let me mute the music, and then let's turn up the speakers here. Okay, and oh, I forgot to reset my browser. Hang on. Transform, and then fit to screen. There we go. I was doing my tier list video for Halo, and I never changed it back. Okay, here we go. This is so good. Fly! Fly! Fly, you fat fuck! Fly! Walter belongs to bed. I'm gonna fly! Fly! Higher! Higher! Oh, shit! Woo! Oh! Oh! Yeah, fuck you! Fuck you! Ah! Shit, sorry. Yeah! Get him! Get him, boy! It's so good, bro. Every time. Yeah, fuck you. So there you go. Yeah, check out Power World if you got the scratch and you want to play a little something like that. Really good stuff. Like, that's my point about the ridiculousness. Like, there's no reason for that wave to go that high. Was that super loud? My bad. Sometimes everyone complains about the volume. That was loud. My bad. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Because a lot of times everyone's like, yo, the volume is so loud or so low. I'm like, okay, I'll really like make sure this is cranked. This might have been a voice actor dubbing over the gameplay clip. Oh, really? Oh, well, whatever. Whatever. Still sells the idea that it's like ridiculous. And if you do that with a friend, it'll naturally happen. Okay, let's see here. We got Nicodemus Arcade. Or hold on. Did I get your name right? Nicodemix Arcade. Sorry. Heads up on 3 titles published by Nacon, where the physical PS5 ESRB release was canceled in February, but all 3 finally came in June. Cthulhu, the Cosmic Abyss, Dragonkin, the Banished, and Greedfall 2. Greedfall 2 getting a physical? Interesting. Hang on. Really? Yes. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think I'll get Greedfall physically because that shit's going away for sure. Good shout out there. Thank you. Oh no, what did I do? Oh, knock it off. All right, Claw 117. Imagine if Microsoft said, as part of back compat on PC, you could put your OG Xbox in PC for you fossils who still have disk drives. I mean, if they call us fossils, that would be hilarious. I still keep mine for a few games, all Microsoft published, oddly enough. Yeah. I think if they're going this whole kind of like PC versus like console route, like we're not sure what Helix is going to be. If they had it where it's like, hey, you can put the disc in and like it runs as per usual. It's not this whole disc to digital thing. It's like, it's the disc. It's running the disc. That's all a guy wants, man. That's all a guy wants. But if they call this fossils, it's just like, you know, Asha being like, kindness, clarity is kindness. It's like, sure, that would be one very kind clarity thing to do, right? Just calling your consumers what they are. Many of us are fossils. Christopher Burnett, thank you for your super chat. It saddens me gamers choose convenience of digital, the only upside of digital, over physical media. In the process, we are sacrificed and lost so much. Yeah, man. Yeah, honestly, like, I don't blame people for going digital. I don't really. Like, I'm not going to demonize people for certain choices, because I think a lot of people also choose digital because they don't have the space for physical. Like, they would do physical, but it's like, hey, I live in an apartment. I can't have all of these games. Or, yeah, someone just brought up Play Anywhere in chat. Like, that's another example. Some people don't have the money to access all these games by purchasing them, so Game Pass works for them. That's why I was a big advocate of Game Pass when it was affordable. I was like, look, man, if you want to try before you buy, not a bad idea. Definitely, these things make sense to me. I just, again, until I see that number like well and below, like we're in the 5 to 8% range, it's like no one's left standing. When we're there, if we get there, sure, maybe physical should go away. But if we're still sitting in like some games going upward of 30 or 40% physical, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of this move was just to shake people off who were never going to move on anyway, and this is forcing them to move on. So there's that. Hi, Maddie. Well, hello, beloved Emperor. What is a franchise you'd love to see venture into HD 2D? You said Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I just say like mainline Pokemon remakes for sure. Or, of course, just remaking Final Fantasy VI in HD 2D. They're kind of doing it already. They're saying like Resonance is this HD 2D game. And I'm very excited for Final Fantasy Resonance. But like a true mainline Final Fantasy game being remade with the HD 2D stuff would be incredible. Absolutely incredible. But Mystery Dungeon, throwing that in there, sure, why the hell not, dude? I love Mystery Dungeon. At least the older ones. So good. So these are great picks. But yeah, the HD 2D art style, they could breathe life into a lot more series over at Square if they chose to. But the question is, will they? They already did with Dragon Quest. Did it with Final Fantasy now. Gotta wonder what's next. Let's see here. Volcom 309. Maddie, would you ever do a Naughty Dog retrospective leading up to Intergalactic, maybe releasing next year? You could do Naughty Dog's whole history, even The Last of Us 2. I don't think I'm really like educated on them in the way I am with other companies to do like retrospectives of them as a studio, but I will say with Naughty Dog specifically, I would like to do Uncharted retrospectives. I played Uncharted, or I played Uncharted 1. I did play that. I beat that. I beat 2. Never beat 3 or 4. So just going back through all 4 of those would be good. Lost Legacy as well. I've replayed The Last of Us 1 multiple times. That's my favorite Naughty Dog game next to like the Jak and Daxter stuff. Jak and Daxter would definitely be also one to go back to around that time period. And The Last of Us 2, I really like the gameplay for, but Last of Us 2 story, I am like one of the people who just does not. Not a fan. Not a fan. So yeah, I don't know. Naughty Dog also, I mean, they are really great at what they do, but their games have spoke to me less over the years. There's a reason why I miss so many of them, but I do want to do Uncharted at least. I hear so many people talk about it, and I think I'd appreciate Uncharted a little bit more now that I got Indiana Jones, both games and movies, under my belt. So that'd be a good one. JCMC is king. Classic horror, Parasite Eve or RE2 on the 64. Oh, you gotta do Parasite Eve. Yeah, you gotta do Parasite Eve, my friend. Parasite Eve is just like, I admit, hand up, I did not finish it, but I watched a friend play a few of the opening missions. They got to like Central Park. I am so into Parasite Eve when I finally get to that one. I cannot wait. I would say that. I love RE2. I don't know how it is on N64 versus PlayStation, so someone in the chat would have to help out with that a little bit more. My pick here would definitely be Parasite Eve, though. RE2 is amazing, don't get me wrong, but like Parasite Eve on PlayStation, I don't know much about a 64 version of RE2. Yeah, I go Parasite Eve, personally. Good question, though. I hope I'm helping you narrow down your list, right? You got Fable now, Parasite Eve, you got some peak in front of you. Mr. Mo says it insists upon itself constantly. I'm thinking of that Family Guy clip. It insists upon itself. It insists upon itself. Like, was not a fan of The Godfather. What? Why? It's a classic. He's like, it insists upon itself. It insists upon itself. So... Oh man, this reminds me of a clip that that Radic put on his Twitter account. It was so funny, bro. I forgot about it. It's like where Peter and Lois's dad go to rob a train, and they just start ending up like small talking for like 2 minutes straight. Family Guy clears, bro. It's so good. I fucking love Family Guy. I'm sorry to hear that, Personal Melon, but no worry. We're glad you're here now. Appreciate you hopping in. That was the reference, Maddie. Good call. All right, Mr. Mo is on top. Okay, let's go. It insists upon itself. Oh, man. Family Guy was like my favorite thing growing up. Like nothing made me laugh more than Family Guy. I just based my whole humor around it. Just so good. The chicken fights, the ridiculousness, the cutaways. God bless Family Guy. I have played 208 games and completed 60 of them on Game Pass, over $5,800 in value. Yeah, B. Rogers, this is why I tell people all the time, I'm like, Game Pass is great. Like, when it was at its most affordable, like, I always said that, you know, because what I've noticed on Twitter is, like, the people who don't follow me at all, like, will quote tweet my shit about physical games and be like, by the way, he pushed Game Pass all the time. I'm like, Game Pass was not the only way to consume games on Xbox or in the industry. There were ways to buy it digitally and physically. Game Pass was another vertical that I absolutely do not regret pushing, because I'm like, yo, you don't have money? Like, I grew up with not a shit ton of money. Having a library like that, which also included day one games, even if it was a short-term thing, I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. Get me in on that. Like, that is incredible value. In a lot of ways, it could still justify itself, right? But it doesn't really... I think when you're $20+ and you're like, you're more incentivized to like buy it for a month to play one game and then unsubscribe that month. It's like an advanced form of Blockbuster, you know? Maddie, you're watching X-Men 97 Season 2. I love X-Men 97, best show at the moment. I have not checked it out. I haven't even checked out the first season, to be honest with you. It's one I've always wanted to get to. X-Men has been like one of my favorite things Marvel-wise to get to when it comes to like comics. Like anytime I open up my Marvel app, when I just suddenly be like, I'm in the mood for comics, because we don't really have great comic shops near us here, unfortunately. I'm still looking for one. It's like we moved to a great spot, but like there's also just so many of my hobbies are not supported where we live, and it pisses me off. Like we have like not the best retro stores, and then I'll like travel and visit my friends, or we'll travel to different states, and I'm like, dude, the pickings here are so much better. But when I do fire open my comic app, I definitely, like the Marvel Unlimited stuff, I'll definitely hop into, what was I reading last? This is, a couple of years ago now at this point. What was I, because this had to be posts, Deadpool and Wolverine. Let me reinstall the app here. Let's see, what was Maddie reading last time he was on the Marvel Unlimited app? Let's see here. Oh, it's this whole sign-in thing. I don't remember my fucking password, bro. Okay, it's cooked. I don't know. I can't tell you. I think it was the 03 run or something like that. Future Millionaire. Love the name. Sup, Maddie? I need you to wish me luck. I'm currently playing and revisiting all of the mainline Final Fantasy games. Currently on Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster. Nice, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. Pixel Remasters have great quality of life as well. So if you get stuck on anything, you have a get out of jail free card. Apparently the trophy lists are also really good for them. Just like, have fun, dude. Really, really good game. Nerdy Giant 09. Are you planning to participate in the blackout in August? Yeah. Yeah. I think people's complaints about the blackout is a little fair. Like, I do think there could have been a better week. I didn't really get to ask, does it play, when they reached out to me about it, like right before it was happening. They were just like, you know, do you want to do this? And I didn't really get to ask them like why this week or anything like that. It taking place during Gamescom is a little interesting. It makes, I think their goal, I don't know for sure, I haven't asked them, but I think their goal was to get as many people involved and make it easy to get them involved, so there was like a quantity of like people and there'd be less spending and engagement, which like PlayStation would go, oh shit, you know, maybe something quantifiable. I don't know. But yeah, I'm participating. I mean, it's easy. Like, I'm not buying on I did all the things I think that are necessary. I'm not really buying on PlayStation right now. I haven't bought anything on PlayStation since the news. I unsubscribed from PS Plus, and yeah, I'll do the blackout. You know, I reviewed Halo on my PlayStation, but like, if I'll be at Gamescom for some of the blackout, but like if anything, I'll just be playing stuff on my Steam Deck or my Analog Pocket, all my other gaming devices. So yeah. I hope people take part in it. I've seen a lot of people try to put it down, but it's like, I think too many people are laying it on their back, to tell you the truth. I think anything would help right now. And if it makes it an easier, accessible thing for people, then sure, why not? I have too many games I need to play. Yeah, that's why no one's forcing you to do it, right? Like, I'm not saying, like, you should do this. I'm just saying you should care at the end of the day. You know? There's so many other ways to access games. It might get you into a different pocket. Self-imposed challenge. I mean, I love self-imposed challenges too, but this isn't really much of a challenge for me, at least. Like, I have all the systems. I'm lucky to have all the systems. I have access to so many games. I can just go play whatever. I've accidentally done PS blackouts for like months. So, I already engage pretty selectively. Hey, Matty, thoughts on Gears E-Day? It's looking dope from what we've seen so far. Evan, we'll talk about Gears E-Day this week. Keep a lookout. Let's see here. Nerdy Giant. So, are you denying codes from Sony then if you get them? Sony doesn't even talk to me. They haven't talked to me for years, so I'm not even in a position to deny them. So, no concerns there. I haven't, like, when I tried to reach out to them again for review code access, like, they've completely, when you cover Xbox extensively, like, that's just how it's gone for them and a lot of other Xbox-centric creators. So, you know, it is what it is. My audience really isn't even into that type of stuff. If you're an RPG, you got a home here. PlayStation doesn't really do a lot of RPGs. And JRPGs usually go over to Retro Rebound anyway. So there's no codes for me to even deny from Sony themselves. It's starting to rain and thunder a little bit. I'd love to see Chris Nolan make a film based on a video game. I picture Nolan doing a Halo trilogy, Dead Space, Parasite Eve, Deus Ex, or System Shock. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see his take on that. I thought The Odyssey was excellent. I was a little surprised that this was like I don't know, man. This is where, like, it's kind of nice not being in the noise. I saw The Odyssey. I loved it. And I saw people, like, trying to insist this was going to be some disaster movie. And I'm like, in what world? And I see the money it's making. I'm like, in what fucking world did people convince themselves this would be a flop? So it'd be cool to see him do whatever. He's a fantastic director. Definitely one of my favorite movies from him. I haven't seen every single one. What have I missed so far? I don't think I've seen Tenet yet. Let me look it up here. What all Christopher Nolan movies? Let's see. I've seen Memento. I've not seen Insomnia. Prestige I saw. Dark Knight. Prestige is good. Inception, great movie. Dark Knight Rises. Interstellar, obviously fantastic. Oh, I missed Dunkirk and Oppenheimer. I'm still a little behind. Yeah, okay. So I can't really rank them all, but I feel like Oppenheimer and Odyssey seem to grapple with similar things. This guy is scary consistent. Look at this release cadence here, dude. 2-year gap. 2-year gap. 3-year gap. 1 year. 2 year. 2 year. 2 year. 2 year. 3, 3, 3, 3. That's unbelievable, man. Video games, please. Please, I'm begging you, figure it out. He owes his career to Heath Ledger, in my opinion. I get that take. I get that. But he also gets a lot of high-profile actors. Yeah, Interstellar's out there for sure. Interstellar's got to be top 3 at least. Is he the greatest of all time? I can't say that for sure. I'm still not well-versed enough in movies to, like, pick a GOAT director, like, objectively speaking. Like, I've seen everything, like... one of my favorite directors now, I should say, like, who I learned is one of my favorite directors from the movies I've seen is, Blade Runner director. Holy shit. What's the, fucking person's name? Ridley Scott. Jesus. Yeah. Ridley Scott, that Alien, like, you know, just classic. Just a hits only dude. Gladiator. Like, unbelievable, you know? The blackout dates coincide with MW4 bid. Oh, that definitely helps. It's a lot of engagement there. Good place to stick it. Again, I'm of the mindset, I'm like, anything kind of works here. You know, maybe I'm being a little too easy to please with it all, but, and maybe because I'm not like, I already accidentally do blackouts, and for me, I'm like, yeah, if this is part of like a more unified movement, easy. But I think it's just more important that people beyond me and others who are like heavy advocates participate. It's about like other people who would normally be playing here. You know, there's gonna be more people who are gonna just like screenshot their stuff and be like, I'm playing, I'm engaging, I'm having fun. Like, JCMC is king. Final category, sci-fi. We got Half-Life 2 on Xbox, Perfect Dark 64, Mega Man 64, which is lower quality in Legends, yes, or the original Metal Gear on PlayStation. I have not played Half-Life 2. Perfect Dark's great. Mega Man Legends, only PS1. Do not do 64. I'm going to go with this list here, Metal Gear Solid 1. Based on the platforms you're picking and that sort of stuff, I would go Metal Gear Solid 1. That is a really unique video game. Incredible. It's aged so well. I just played it for the first time last year. It is aged so well. Perfect Dark 64 would be, I think, a good close second here. And then Half-Life 2 on Xbox, I don't know if that's considered like a good version. If it is like the same as Half-Life 2 on computer, then no reason to not do that. That's a all-time classic for people. But Mega Man 64, no. Did you see Batman Part 2 got delayed to February 2028? I did. And my depression continues on. Dustblood's playtest is supposedly during the blackout, so I'll be busy with Nintendo anyway. There you go. That's the point, right? It's just getting people to see. I think the idea of the blackout is not just like, stick it to Sony. Just like, get people to see like, oh, you can game elsewhere. There are tons of other options for you. To answer your question, Tech 3771, the blackout we're talking about is something that was spearheaded by Does It Play. They're like a game preservation organization that like reviews games offline, and they have a whole website dedicated to that, and they show like over 3,500 games reviewed on their website that many games are available offline still. And they kind of spearheaded a movement where they wanted to do a PS blackout for a week and wanted to get a lot of people involved. And so it actually went trending online, which is crazy to see. A lot of main press sites covered it, which was also really good to see. And so I'm just happy to see it gaining a lot more traction than I expected. I was like, oh, I think a lot of people are going to say no to this, but I'll back them up. You know, like I have no problem doing this. But that's kind of the long and short of it. What week? When is the blackout? Let me get you the exact information here. Hang on, guys. It is from Sunday, August 23rd at 7 p.m. local time through Sunday, August 30th at 7 p.m. local time. So, yeah. Nice little 1 week stretch. I thought Blackout was a dumb idea that wouldn't do any good, but using it as a way to show people there are other places to play is a good idea. At least that's how I think about it. Yeah, like that's the problem with a lot of this movement being spearheaded on social media is there's a lot of, I'm not talking about you specifically, but there's a lot of devaluing of the position people are trying to take with this. It's also just kind of deeply upsetting because I'm like, I think the main thing that Drawdown's been blacking out PlayStation for 15 years. There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of people who this comes really easily. It's about the people who need to see playing elsewhere and sort of what that does for them. And they're like, oh, because for me, I was like very entrenched in one ecosystem until I started to break out and just like go to all other platforms. I'm like, oh, this is like, you know, now I'm talking about when I was way younger, right? I was just on Xbox. And then I went to PS2 and I got like Kingdom Hearts and I went to GameCube and I played games like Naruto, Clash of Ninja. And I was like, oh, this is just like, I just love games, right? I wasn't just entrenched in one ecosystem. But yeah, I'm always kind of surprised with how the social media discourse around this has been that like anytime I post about this, like most people I know agree with me, but the main people who are talking to me are people who do not follow me, who are just drive-by insulters is what I call them, where they're just like hurling shit at me. And then moving on to the next thread, I'm like, what are you guys so hurt by that if this continued to exist, are you like afraid of being wrong? Are you afraid that your precious platform is being critiqued and that's like your whole personality? Like, it's one of the times where normally I can like, for example, I think about the last fanboy meltdown I saw, Xbox going multi-plat. People turn their whole personality into Xbox on social media. We saw that over the years with parasocial relationships and whatnot. And it blew up in Xbox's face completely when they went multi-platform. It was really sad to see because you could just see there were a lot of straight up broken people. But with this, I'm like, oh, what the fuck why fight against it? Like, I'm not saying you got to stand in line with us, but what are you gaining from trying to shut it down so aggressively, so often, and telling people like me and thousands of other creators to shut up, to just get in line? I don't get it. You know, like, yeah, Mr. Mo put it perfectly. Why do digital people care at all? No one is trying to make games only physical. Exactly. Like, no one's trying to argue, hey, like, you have to play games our way. We're just saying, let this option continue to exist. And I think the physical games community has been so perfectly rational about things. Like, they've been saying, hey, man, we'll pay a little bit more for this. Hey, man, we'll take limited prints. Just like what a negotiable ass community. I think most communities would be like, man, fuck this shit. Like give us exactly what we have right now and then some. But it's been so reasonable, I think, what the ask has been. And the concession of like, yeah, we're not the dominant force. We know that. But we definitely exist in a way where like we can make profits. So treat us as such. I heard there was an NDA about Williams in the bonus mission for Campaign Evolved. Is that why she was kept out of promotional material? I don't know. I didn't see anything like that personally. I talked about this character in my review, so I didn't see anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think she's like as a concept a bad character. It's just you have 3 missions and she just doesn't have enough time to establish herself. So all she does is hurl insults at Chief. Chief just stands there. It's shitty. It's terrible storytelling. I'm Rook in the building. Maddie, when you get a chance, I DM you on Discord about an interview opportunity at Gamescom. Let me know if interested. Oh, I got you, bro. Yes, absolutely. I will check my Discord later tonight. After we're done with the stream here, I got a meeting with my art director. We're doing some design stuff, and then I can answer some messages after that, probably when I'm in bed. So thank you for pointing this out to me, bro. I will get back to you. Youth Canoe. Why Mega Man Legends instead of Mega Man 64? Pardon me. There's actually a whole breakdown on this. Hold on. Mega Man Legends versus 64. Where is it? You know what? Let's let Reddit do the work for us here. Perfectly put here. Most objects glow, such as refractors no longer look bright and glowing, instead dark. Voices were downsampled to fit onto the cartridge, which sounds really bad. It's not true analog control. It's basically a D-pad on the stick, which is not what the PS1 is. Let's see here. Slowdowns. There's a lot of issues. It's just a more problematic version. Wait, hold on. Wait. Let me check something else here real quick. Let me try this. Mega Man 64 features versus PS1. It's got really bad reviews too. Oh, interesting. I didn't know about this. They said minor changes are made to N64 text and items outside of Japan. I didn't know that. Yeah, controls. Oh, yeah, let's see this. This might be a good reference point. In a world... Let me get to a point where there's gameplay. Yeah, it controls and strafe a lot better. I hate the N64 controller as well, so there's that too. So yeah, there's a number of reasons. I would personally suggest staying away from Mega Man Legends on 64. I'm admittedly not like someone who... I mean, I played Mega Man Legends for the first time, what was it, last year on PS1? I was trying to find the comparison I had seen online before I had got started when I was like looking into which version. But a lot of people push into the PS1 version. So I apologize. I don't have a ton of information for you on this. But it's definitely controls. And I remember audio, like, pretty terrible. Iron Rook. I haven't bought a physical disc in years, but I'll be buying physical for the foreseeable future because all this bullshit with Sony. It was never intended. I was never intending my happy convenience to signal them to shamelessly monopolize this guy. Such a good guy with great value sets, always willing to change, see the other side. That's the Iron Rook I know. Proud of you, dude. Thank you. Thank you for fighting the good fight. I also do think, I forgot to mention this, Mega Man Legends 64 does get demonized a bit because a lot of games, like when they were coming out, like third-party games coming out on PS1 and N64, the N64 version was always inferior because, you know, the cartridge size versus the amount of information that could be held on the disc. Like, just night and day in a lot of cases. A lot of games, the reason they exist is because the PS1 was powerful enough. Damn, Halo's not doing well. The fuck, I expected 100K on Steam easily. Oh, don't tempt me with a good time drawn out. What do we got here? Halo campaign evolved Steam DB. Let's see here. Mostly positive on Steam. Almost 4,000 reviews. Not bad. Player charts. Ooh. 20K all-time peak. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm not going to jump the gun. We'll see. That's a game for the PlayStation base, so that's why I'll wait for estimates to come out, but we'll see. We'll see. I think with, like, if you're on a platform where Master Chief Collection exists feel like you'll do worse as campaign evolves, so I'll wait for the PS5 sales. But we'll see, man. I don't know. That shit's getting torn up online. Maybe the weekend will be better, but that's tough. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. Is the full release now? Hold on. Or is it because it's early access? Is that tomorrow? Halo campaign evolved release date. Can't remember. Oh no, it came out to. Oh boy, yeah. Oh, it came out today. Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I just think if you got access to MCC in some way, somehow, there's just no reason to own this game, and I think the sales will reflect that. I know you're not a film guy, but do you think Sony will also cease physical discs for film since they have Columbia, Sony, and are handling Disney? You got to imagine so, right? But then again, there was that post that their Sony account did for, like, you know, listen to music the way it was supposed to be. And it was just this fucking, like, promotion of, like, physical media for music. I'm like, I don't know, man. But I saw physical movies were, like, on the way out. I think, what was it, Best Buy or something? There was, like, one storefront that just really cut it off recently in a meaningful way. And so I feel like movies have been on the way out for a while, too. But that's where a lot of stats started to crop up, where, like, the newer generation has been going to these video stores, buying old movies, seems to be interested in owning their material, that kind of thing. They're waking up, man. Movie bros will go fucking nuts on Sony. Can you imagine a unified front? Movie bros and gamer bros just going at Sony or whoever's going all digital. It's sick. Sparkler Jr., love you, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. Appreciate the super chat. Thanks for the love. I'm absolutely back on the CD train. Yeah, I haven't done CDs in a minute. That's something I'm not there with yet. That's a good one. Shall we get some slop going? It's we're on topic right now. Let's do it. Let me get this rocking and rolling for us here. This will be a fun one. Totally a topic I'm not extremely passionate about or anything. Getting all these links up here. Okay. Yeah, because it's starting to thunder a little bit, get a little dark outside. So I'm like, hey, if we get hit with a storm, I'd like to at least, you know, get a couple of slops in. Pause the musica. Unironically, I think Halo will do better on PS5 than PC or Xbox, and it should, right? But then again, if Gears was anything to go by, Gears Reloaded, a lot of PlayStation fans just ended up not caring. So we'll see if Xbox's attempt to kind of sell out their iconic franchise will be worth it in the end. All right, let me just make sure everything's centered here for you guys and for the viewers after the fact, because I want to make sure just everything's accounted for here. Okay, cool. We're good. All right. Who's ready for their favorite topic in gaming? Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to spam the so James Day's already on it. Yeah, he already knows the memo. If you want to spam some meat emojis, whether they be free or member stuff, please, by all means. We'd love to have your meat. I'm going to try not to burp this video. No promises, though. I think you all have learned I'm a very burpy individual. I don't know where the fuck I got that from. It'd be much better if it went out the other way, right? Much easier to hide. Although. Okay, that's enough. All right, let's do this. All right. Let's get the party started. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a topic that none of us have passion for at all. A topic that literally no one cares about. No one's talking about it, but I'm going to give this very niche, specific subject some real attention here. Today, we are talking about physical games, and the gods are angry. as I'm recording this right now and as we're streaming this right now, it's thundering. I'm thinking of like, I have Odyssey in my head right now. And like, as bad things happen, the thunder rumbles. And right now, Zeus is not happy with PlayStation. And indeed, he has decided to smite the PlayStation Network, or some hackers, or Amazon's web service went offline. I don't know. But really what I want to spotlight here as part of our continuing conversation on the digitization of video games is how absolutely unready we are for this, right? To make things clear, I'm not like 10,000% against us trying to go digital. I do think there's enough of us here in the physical realm where these things should continue to exist in perpetuity, right? In a limited print run, that kind of thing. I've gone over that talking point a number of times though, so I'll spare all of you the recap on that. But when you look at kind of the status of these networks and how easily they can get hit offline and for how long they can be hit offline and how inaccessible your media is in that time period in certain regions of the world, I don't think we should be trusting our entire library to that ecosystem until it's ready. Now, things happen sometimes, no doubt about it. But this all happening around this time, universe might be trying to tell us something. I don't know. We'll get into it. Shall we? Let's. So, IGN covers how PlayStation Network is back online after outage causes PSN users to lose access to their games for hours. Now, to be clear, the PSN issue we're going to go over was bad. Xbox had it way worse. So we'll get into them next. The original story is that Sony's PSN services have been offline for hours today, leaving fans unable to play digital games. And this has obviously left people pointing to the benefit of physical copies just weeks after Sony's bombshell announcement that it will kill discs. PlayStation services began to disappear for some users around 8:30 a.m. in the morning. Around the same time, an alert from Amazon Web Services that multiple AWS servers in the U.S. West 2 region were facing connectivity issues. Despite the problem being marked as resolved around an hour later, players reportedly continued to experience issues in the hours since and in countries outside the United States as well. So a lot of this AWS stuff has been used to sort of dismiss it. It seems like it could have been a problem actually with Sony. No one can say absolutely for sure, but honestly, that's not even the point of the video. Now, as this progressed, we got updates. It appears that the PlayStation Network's back online after being down for hours this morning. Sony updated its status page to reflect its accounts management, gaming and social, PlayStation Video, and PlayStation Direct services are up and running. It also notes that players may still have difficulty getting products on the PlayStation Store, the one place they want you to be able to buy games, by the way. But Sony is working to resolve the issue as soon as possible. Sony has not clarified what caused the lengthy PSN outage, something that, to Xbox's credit, we'll get into, they gave a complete clarification on. And then the final update was 10 minutes later saying that all PSN services are back online, and they say all services are up and running, and there are no updates from PlayStation since. Now, while this is all happening, might I add, Sony posts the most incredible promotion of all time. So much so that I was like, you can't write this stuff. Like, it's an unbelievable level of tone deafness that I truly am not saying this for the camera because we're live or, all this extreme sort of reactionary stuff. I truly don't think I've seen something ever this tone deaf where there has been an announcement. There has been a loud pushback on all fronts consistently for weeks. And then you post this. Rediscover the warmth, detail, and ritual of vinyl with the LX3 turntable. Drop the needle, press play, and enjoy music the way it was meant to be heard. It's time to upgrade. Go fuck yourself, dude. Like, really? Fuck you, man. That's unbelievable. I can't believe this shit got posted. I can't believe even the caption. Like, you want to promote the material. Okay. Let's promote our LX3 turntable. But you're out here telling me that you could not have edited the caption. Like, hey, in light of like, guys, I know we're Sony Electronics here, right? This is at Sony Electronics. But in light of what's happening with our PlayStation brethren, the main money makers here who are kind of driving physical media, do we want to like word this like the way it was meant to be? Or did the PR guy go rogue? Did the social media guy go rogue? I don't know, dude. This feels like a little bit of like, challenge us. Come on now. Feels a little bit like a taunt. Nonetheless, I wanted to point that out because while this is all happening, I think it's absolute comedy gold that we get a promotion about how things were meant to be, right? Like, get away from the digitization. Buy your vinyls. Play them on our turntable, which we support. Are you going to put a disc drive in your PS5? I'd like to play games, I think, the way they're meant to be played. Not everyone has to agree, but just saying, since Sony is so amicable to people's tastes It just reads corporate and reads like they don't give a fuck, dude. Okay, that's PlayStation side of things. But Green Team had it worse. They had it worse, man. Xbox support. Now, the end of the story. Good news. The earlier Xbox issues should now be mitigated. You should once again be able to launch games, sign in, and complete purchases. Thanks for sticking with us through a long one. How long? I think the Twitter thread will tell you enough. But, you know, at a quantifiable hour, we're hearing 20 hours. Almost a full day. And in some cases, you couldn't even access your physical discs because they're license keys. This is what I'm talking about, dude. Like, I feel crazy that there are people on social media that, like, if I went to my mentions right now, there'll be one person who's like, yeah, bro, like, honestly, like, you're capping, like, this is ridiculous. Anyway, here's the Xbox support page. Let's go through just how many updates we had within this saga. Oh, I'm not done. I'm still not done. We're still going. Look at these incident updates. Another update. Nope. We're not done. There was another one. And this is the center point. At 5:32 a.m., they say, we are aware some users are encountering errors when attempting to sign in. See your game library or launch games, like the thing you have your Xbox for. Our engineers are actively working to mitigate the issue. For updates, follow along here. And as you can see here, 5:30 in the morning all the way to 6:48. And the issue was going on hours beforehand. Unbelievable. But let's go all digital, shall we? I'm not even trying to be antagonistic when I say it. Like, this is just right here in front of you. I don't care if hackers knocked them offline. I don't care if it was AWS. I don't care if someone accidentally flipped the fucking switch. They like leaned and went, oops, and just shut it all off. And they're like, oh shit, someone spilled their coffee. I don't care about the why to how it happened. I don't care about that. It's that it did happen. And that we lost access to our stuff for extended periods of time while we're all talking about how important physical media and ownership and access to your content is. Like, there's no reason this shouldn't be anything more than like, oh, as I put it, the universe might be trying to tell us something. I feel this stretch here, all I've been trying to do is educate and inform as we go along here. This should all speak to people. So that was my thoughts on the matter here. And if you look at their actual support page on Xbox in general, this wasn't their only outage. Like, in the same week when Halo was launching in early access, there was another outage. We are aware some users are encountering errors when attempting to connect to Xbox services and features. Our engineers are on it. And they continue to have issues over and over and over, dude. And look, as you go further back, like June and July have been busy, but then like you don't see an update between May 19th and June 10th. Pretty good. That's fine. But dude, this in June and July has been a consistent issue for Xbox. And honestly, they're more digital than PlayStation as it stands. And what's scary about it is Xbox is our really only hope to kind of like stand up and make a move about this all, because game publishers certainly aren't. They're all sitting there counting their check. They're like, oh, you want to give us full dollar amount per sale? Okay, carry on, right? And that's why companies like Sega, companies like Ubisoft aren't pushing back. They're giving non-answers to their investors about physical media because they're like, we think this will be good for us. Yes, if you continue to sell the same amount of copies with your games readily available, and you also neuter the ability to gift games. Like, is anyone really trying to pay full price for a game from Ubisoft right now that hasn't been remade and that you already know you like it? There's something to be taken away from the data of like Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced has sold 3.5 million copies. Like, yeah, because it's a game you know you'll love. Anything new Ubisoft has done has really struggled. So I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Now, why did this happen with Xbox? To their credit, while PlayStation has not said anything between physical games and now their outages, they just like to put their head in the sand. Here is Scott Van Ville. And he, probably butchered his last name, is the CTO at Xbox, and he actually provided an explanation. And hey, for everything that's happening here, I respect stepping out and giving an answer. So let's read what he had to say here. He said, earlier today, many players began experiencing issues with sign-in, enumerating their game libraries and playing games. The team worked hard throughout the day to fix the issue, and we've restored the service as of 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Nonetheless, this is an unacceptable situation, and we must do better to support you. Hey, step one, just the human acknowledgement at all. Like, hey, this wasn't okay. Thank you. Love to see it. Very transparent. Over the coming weeks, you'll hear more from me about our services, our platform, and the work we're doing to make Xbox better. And that starts with some transparency about what happened with this incident. So what happened? Late last night, a licensing service that sits outside of Xbox, but which Xbox depends upon, began failing. This caused some sign-in scenarios to fail, and it caused many scenarios that require an entitlement check to also fail, such as listing out your full library and launching games that you own. It also affected several of our publishing and store partners who depend on those same systems, which is why some of you saw issues in specific games and not others, which of course, like, can you imagine if you shipped a game this day? Like, people depend on these platforms, man. It's not just about accessibility of games. It's like for your partners, accessibility to collecting sales. And for Xbox, why that matters is like, well, now someone might have just gone and bought that same game on PlayStation because they have access to both platforms. So it's compounding. So what did they do? Our on-call teams caught the first signals overnight through automated monitoring and declared a major incident. Once we isolated the failing infrastructure, we shifted traffic into a healthy part of our system while the team continued to work towards a root cause. Service came back unevenly across regions, which is why some of you recovered hours before others. So what's next? We're running a full post-incident review. I care less about the one-line root cause and more about the real questions. Why a failure in one service was able to take down this much, why recovery took as long as it did, and what we changed so a single point of failure can't ruin your night again. That means hardening the dependencies underneath sign-in and game launch and improving how we detect and contain this class of failure and being faster and clearer with you when something breaks. Thank you for your patience and for the reports that genuinely helped us narrow this down. We'll do better. Hey, look, honestly, respect the transparency here. I can think of a good solution. You know, I appreciate acknowledgement, but I can think of a really good solution here. It's like, hey, these things are going to happen. Like, things are going to go offline. Things are getting increasingly digital, more stress on these systems. Things are going to go offline. I just think like, I don't know, like a way to access my games offline in the case that some freak shit happens. I think that'd be kind of like a good in between, you know? You produce games a certain way so that there's this version that if a worst case scenario happens where Xbox goes away, servers shut down, I don't know what the fuck happens. There's a way for me to like fire this thing up. That's my solution. And I don't think that's really that hard to implement. It's something we've done for a long while. So that's why I kind of get back to the core point of my conversation here is not like, I appreciate the transparency. I also don't really care what and why. The reality is offline accessibility is not something we figured it out. We know. What I'm seeing a lot of is like have our cake and eat it too. Like we want to always be online, but if we really assure you like this will not happen again. It's like, okay, we trust you. Continue on, sir. No sort of aggression here from the consumers. And then it happens again. You know, the leash is short with people on this stuff. And again, I need to really emphasize that while the attention is on PlayStation, Xbox can follow suit with their whole disc to digital program. We're hearing about Positron, which is just turning all of your discs into license keys. That's not a solution. They as in Xbox and PlayStation need a true offline solution. And it exists already. There is no rocket science to this thing, man. When we have storefront crashes and launch issues the day like Xbox's new Halo game drops. And I have no love for that Halo game, but still, there's something symbolic about that. Or PlayStation killing discs, promoting vinyls, and then having their service go out in that same stretch of time. As fans week after week continue to just chip away and yell at them. It's almost like this isn't a really great idea. Or my personal feelings aside, it's almost like we're just not there yet. This is good for business, but like we're not really there yet. And that's to my last point, is that what we see a lot online now, specifically friend of Last Stand Media, David Jaffe, talked about the reason like physical is going away is like, look, you got these $300 million games, you need maximum dollar per sale. And a lot of what I feel has been echoed online. I'm not going to center my anger at Jaffe. I get what he's trying to say and what he did say. But from my point of view, dude, look, I never asked for the $200-300 million projects. You guys see the games I play. And a lot of people will tell me online I have woefully low standards because I grew up playing, BioWare and Bethesda games where, yeah, those games were not graphical showpieces. They were not the most expensive games to make, but they were so fucking fulfilling to play. The characters, the world, the combat, the choices, the reactivity, the inheriting of saves, carrying over. That is why I game. And that doesn't mean that's the case for everyone. There are many people who love their Hollywood-ass games. And I don't even say that like in a mean way. A lot of people love that gaming can provide that sort of blockbuster feel. But this like chasing of being Hollywood, it's the same shit. I mentioned this earlier in our stream. So for those who are watching live, I apologize for being a broken record here, but it's really relevant. That whole like $200-300 million budget, to me, it rings hollow because we're constantly chasing being something that we're not. I don't think this is an industry built to function like Hollywood, to chase the Hollywood highs and all that stuff, to mocap cubes, that sort of stuff. I just don't think that's what we're doing here. And you hear my dog, he's getting upset now. So make my man Forrest a little happier, would you? Please. But nonetheless, this whole physical games situation here, it's actually a much deeper problem. And that's what a lot of us have been talking about. It's not even about just like, I want to like take my game home and own it. It's also just about consumer protection. It's just about being able to buy a game digitally even and know it's yours and know you have access to it. But a lot of people have pointed out in chat, and understandably so, that like when it comes to, well, let me go back to a point here. Let me go back to a point here with Xbox, actually, because one thing I did mention a while ago is with game budgets, Xbox was pushing to this all platform future. They wanted to be everywhere. That was the Xbox everywhere. This is an Xbox. Like that was their initiative, right? And people like me pushed back on it because it didn't address the core issue. The core issue was game budgets. Game budgets were ballooning. Companies were looking at their income versus what they were spending and going, we need more money. Whether that's because line must go up or because they were like, this just isn't going to cut it for our next game. And like, this needs to kind of build on top of itself. I don't know. But I specifically said a nauseating amount of times during Defining Duke videos, I'm like, until you address the core issues with your game budget through game scale, which affects timelines, obviously the amount you pay people. And by that, I mean the amount of people you're paying, which we're seeing like there's a lot of layoffs happening. I'm not saying they're all good, but I do feel like this industry functions differently compared to Hollywood, where this chase to like open up all these storefronts, it's like, well, once you open up all the storefronts, like Xbox is doing with Halo now, if Halo doesn't sell well enough, it's like, well, you're still at the same problem you had before, which is game budgets. It's the same thing PlayStation's at now. They have a problem with game budgets because they make these blockbuster style games, these Hollywood style games, and they're like, well, fuck, how are we going to afford these? We need to maximize our dollar every time we sell a copy of this game. And there's only one way to do that. And they're going to bank on that hardcore being there for that. And people like me who love gaming, more than physical, carrying over and buying their stuff. So it's just this fight for not just preservation, but to truly own what you have and to obviously have a middle market where if you are like me and many others, my story is not unique about like, oh, we didn't have a lot of money. We were like a lower middle income family. And so gaming, like there's a reason I bought my 360 in 09, early 09, late 08. There's a reason why I had just my original Xbox for a long time. There's a reason why when that broke, I was only on my Game Boy Color for a long time. Because it wasn't until we had the money I could replace those things or until secondhand market like eBay was a big factor in my childhood, dude. I love eBay still to this day, of course. Secondhand is just a way to get back into gaming. So I'm retreading my old points. I'll continue to do so, but it goes so much more than just owning. A lot of people have turned it into screeching about owning, and it's really just about like affordability too. And that is such a important part because that affordability can create generational fans. And I feel like that's missed in all this. So seeing PSN and Xbox go out the same stretch of time we're talking about all of this, it's not a coincidence, man. It's a warning, and it should be taken as such. All right, chat, my rambling is done. I was really fighting through that one. There was like points I was like, what the fuck was I going to say? I didn't write enough notes for that one. So now you get to see what's happening when I'm freestyling. But hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, of course. Like, I want to know where you stand on the outages. Like, oh, it happens, Matty. I'm still all digital, or I'm just curious how y'all are feeling on it. Let me know. I'm just going to get this up to Emmett in the meanwhile. I'll get the music rocking and rolling here. Here we go. Let's get this over to Emmett. Oh, my chat went away. Let me reload. You were cooking, good rant. Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, I was just honestly riffing at a certain point because there were so many. There's so much ground to cover. What I'm struggling with now with this is, as the conversation has evolved and there's been no updates, there's so much ground to cover per conversation because there's so much anecdotal and case-by-case data for both sides, might I add, that there's always counterpoints, and it feels like I got to cover the spread and then get into the subject. It's tough. It feels hopeless. Monkey Cam, don't say that. Keep fighting. Maddie, you need to get on a pod with Colin and Jaffe about all this. Colin invited me to one. We'll be talking this Friday, so look forward to that. And Legacy, nobody's talking about giving your library to your kids later. Can't do that with digital. Very good point. How do you pass that shit down? Man. Yeah, because I'm not like on team have a family, so, you know, I like my dogs. Fuck them kids, though. But, like, for those who want to pass the library down, shit. Yeah. Okay, let's get this over to Emmett real fast. Did I send him a shareable link? Sorry, hang on. I think I accidentally... No. No, please. Edit this link just to be sure. Okay, cool. We good. Okay. How does one become uncooked? Thanks for hanging out, Claw. Good to see you. Jaffe is wrong anyway. Even cheap indie games need to make money too. The smaller a business, the less they can sustain margin losses. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is I think it comes down to budget, because it is. I mean, obviously there's a lot of splits that go into every game sale, but a lot of it is like, how much do you spend on your project versus how much copies do you need to sell to get profit. And I look at it that way because I'm like, the lower the number is, the less you have to think about it. You know, not that you think like AAA doesn't need to go away. There's an importance to it. You know, Capcom's a great example of that. But Sony style AAA has become less appealing to me personally. All this physical versus digital combo, and this year I've gone and added both a Dreamcast and OG PlayStation to my retro corner with my Genesis, SNES, and N64. Thanks for helping me pick my next game. My pleasure, dude. Glad I could help you pick out. And I love that you added the Dreamcast. That's actually missing from my setup. I have Dreamcast games. I do not have a Dreamcast itself, though. I always thought they would do a Dreamcast Classic, like a re-release of that. Is it crazy? I did not try Mortal Shell 1. Mortal Shell 2 does look pretty good, though. The live stop has helped me with some of my own recording processes for YouTube. I need to make another video before Attic kills me. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad I can help. If you ever need advice or anything, Rook, I'm happy to give you some pointers. Certainly, as you can see, I still flub a shit ton on stream. So, but thanks for the kind words, as always, dude. Keep preaching the good physical word, my friend. Thank you, Dave. Good to see you, dude. T. Christo says, you never asked, but consumers did by buying $300 million games. We are a minority and a rounding error to Sony. the solution isn't physical, but digital product rights, which affect everyone. Yeah, I think that last part I can agree with. Certainly, yeah, we did buy the $300 million games. I don't think we... It's like, again, the knowledge of it, you know? It's like you can spend that much on it, but that just, like, again, is that really good for your business if it's now forcing you to make unpopular changes to your platform as a result? It's like you might want to go back to the source of the issue, because eventually the budget's going to keep growing, and then you'll only have digital purchases, and you might have also ostracized a lot of your potential consumers, and so you're selling to a potentially tighter base, you know, not significantly tighter, but tighter. So all those games have to perform to a certain quality, to a certain monetary standard. I don't know if it's sustainable. It's a self-eating problem, I think. Not trying to stir things, but Colin did say you did ask for the expensive budgeted games. That's why sales are so high. I don't think you're stirring things at all. It depends who you ask, you know? Like, again, I asked for Fallout, right? Like, that's an easy gotcha on me. I asked for Fallout. Is Fallout going to be a multi-$100 million game? Probably. Though I would be very... Fallout said it's most popular when it's not. New Vegas, 3. 2 is... I mean, 4 is sold, how many? 30 plus million copies? 35 plus million copies? Like, I don't know. When you're going to sell that many copies, like, your budget can be that much. But not every game reaches that much. With all this digital present we find ourselves in, I've been revisiting the 3DS and supporting my local game store. Peter's just a top lad, man. We love when Peter shows up here. Yeah, dude. That's what I've been trying to do, is like these secondhand stores. I don't know what's going to happen to them. So I've been just trying to like visit as many as I can when I travel. And that's been really nice. 3DS is a great one to go back to. I've read stories of people saying like 3DS has really helped them with their focus, because they were so easily like kind of going to their phone real fast. And the 3DS helps with that stuff. So if anyone's having focus issues, gaming has now been viewed, because TikTok is so bad, gaming has been viewed as like a helpful avenue. All right, we got an update from Mithu. Maddie, the Invisible Woman model kit is done. I always left PlayStation on blackout. Any game I play on console, I try to get disc. I always get digital on Steam because of how good digital buying is on PC. Buy like Mithu. Shop like Mithu. Mithu's got Invisible Woman kit. We got the blackout happening. Buying where it makes sense. Not telling other people how to do their thing. Appreciate you, Mithu. Thank you. And I'm glad the model kit's done. That was pretty quick, all things considered. Well, we've been live for just about 2 hours now. Yeah. Not bad. Very impressive. Let me get our next slop topic up here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what I'm going to rant about next. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's talk Halo. Let's talk Halo, my friends. I haven't ranted for the last time. I got more in me. I got one more in me. Uncharted Wolf, you left for an hour? How fucking dare you, bro? You missed one slop, Uncharted Wolf. We talked about digital versus physical. The fun stuff. Oh, you build Gundams, Mithu? Damn. That's hardcore. I went to a Gundam store when I was in Florida, and that shit's super hardcore. Put on some Halo music. That's a good idea. I'm in training. I'm sorry. Training for what? What are you, a Spartan training for war or something? Pfft. Please. All right. Let's do some slop on Halo here. Shall we? All right. Feel free to spam your meat emojis. Okay. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to stop looking sexy for this one. We're taking off the glasses. You know that means business. This is serious slop. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's time to talk about Halo. All right, so we got the newest Halo game. I have reviewed it on my MrMattyPlays channel. And you may have seen that I was not the biggest fan of it. I talked about it in my ranking Halo games video as well on Retro Rebound, and I put it in I had multiple categories. I had peak Halo. I had a Halo 3 category. I had an It Exists category, like it's just very run-of-the-mill, forgettable Halo, which, funny enough, consisted of all the 343/Halo Studios games. I don't know. Not a coincidence there. And then we had the 343 Happen section, which was just like Halo 5. But I had Halo Campaign Evolved in the It Exists category for the time being. I feel like over time, this will go into the 343 Happen thing, because just as more clips are shared, like I already thought there was a lot about this remake that I thought made it pretty shoddy. But as time goes on and I'm seeing things like them removing animations for changing positions in vehicles and just like teleporting you all over the place, the writing, the characters, just things are starting to marinate further, digest further, on my opinion, with this game. Yeah, like it's just very problematic. With that though, now we look ahead. The latest Halo thing is out. We don't know what the numbers are. The only thing that we've got is a Steam player count to go off of when it comes to Halo Campaign Evolved. And it's not explosive. It is sitting right now at a whopping 20K peak, basically. We'll round it up a little bit for them. Top 2 in sellers, 20K peak. Let's have some nuance here. I'm ready to dog on Halo Studios like anyone else, but this is really for the PlayStation base. Until we get, I imagine, estimates from Alinea Analytics, because Xbox never shares numbers, we won't really know how Halo Campaign Evolved has done on PlayStation, roughly speaking. So until then, it's anybody's guess, but usually the fun spreads across all platforms. So if this is what you're sitting at here, I don't know how well you're doing on other platforms. But again, this remake was mainly for the PlayStation base. Xbox fans have got Combat Evolved, what? The original Anniversary Edition, MCC, which includes the Anniversary Edition, and now this. I can't expect people to buy this a fourth time. They might want to spend their money elsewhere, even if this thing had, what, a $10 discount. It's like a $50 game or something like that. So with that, we're looking ahead now. We'll see what the numbers are. We don't know what's going to happen to Halo Studios as well, because they were kind of spared during the first half of the Asha Sharma AoE attack. And now we're going to see what happens in the second half. And I feel like teams that were about to ship games got spared. So teams like Halo Studios were able to ship. Now that they've shipped, we'll see the numbers. And probably within a couple of months, maybe we'll see what happens there to teams like them, Coalition, Playground Games, that sort of stuff. Because no doubt there will still be cuts. Okay, with all that kind of set up now, we look to the next chapter. We already know there is going to be a Halo 2 remake, maybe. You put an asterisk on that because you have a confirmation in the game itself. If you beat the game on Legendary, Sergeant Johnson literally says, "See in the sequel." Meanwhile, we have reports from Rebs Gaming that would suggest otherwise. So let's go to Rebs' report that dates back to July 18th, 2026. And he does a text summary at the end. I'll have his stuff linked down below for you to check out. But you'll see here in this beautifully framed image. Let me just go ahead and move this around. A few things. One, apparently Halo Studios does not have any other mainline campaign or multiplayer project in full development. They only have early concepts for new projects. Mind you, they just transferred to Unreal Engine 5 a few years ago to accelerate their process because things like the Slipspace engine were giving them issues because it was proprietary tech and they couldn't hire people for it like they could with Unreal Engine, where there's a more general knowledge base that you can establish outside of 343 now Halo Studios. Bullet point 2, development teams are now trying to hurry up on creating the vision and concepts for the next main Halo game. This is probably a good time to remind you. Halo Infinite launched in 2021. Okay, you're tracking now? Got it. Last bullet point, I'm told that there's uncertainty around what will happen with Halo 2 and 3 Remake, and nobody at Halo Studios has heard of a Halo MMO. If it's actually real, Halo Studios has nothing to do with it at this time. Okay, so a lot to take out here. Let's start with the remakes, because I think that's the most obvious follow-up, right? We think like with the tease in the game versus what we've heard behind the scenes, like the development for this game was pretty awful. It brought like Halo Studios all hands on deck to try to fix this game. Like it was a really rough development cycle for what was supposed to be a very simple project to kind of get their feet wet, create what I imagine would be like an asset base to then build a new Halo game on top of. Like it kind of made sense. Why would Halo 2 and 3 now be asterisks? Well, two things. One, if you thought the critique for Halo 1 was strong, try remaking less flawed Halo games. I love Halo Combat Evolved, but I can admit there's stuff in the second half of the game, like the way they reuse assets, can feel a little familiar. Like, oh, Two Betrayals is basically Assault on the Control Room in reverse. Okay, fair enough. You can see a lot of repeat. Oh, we're back on the Pillar of Autumn. Even if it makes sense within the context of the narrative and I'm fine with it, try Halo 2. Try Halo 3. There are higher stakes here where Halo 1 was the safest remake. And as we've seen with fan reception, less about critical reception, with fan reception, yeah, man, like, I just think it's a dangerous play. Ignoring that, though, you have trust in yourself, or you're just thinking, like, look, if we remake Halo 2, like, money, we're going to make even more money on this sort of stuff. Why would it be an asterisk? Well, what did I say earlier? Who is the Halo remake for? I think the Steam numbers are already telling you the story. The Halo remake is for the PlayStation base. Xbox has since tried to revert back to their core a bit. They're focusing on exclusives again. We don't know for how long, but they're focusing on exclusives. They're like, hey, let's do, Clockwork Revolution, Gears of War E-Day, console exclusives. Sure. Why not? How long this will go on for? It seems, at least for the foreseeable future, Matthew Ball says you'll continue to get exclusives every year. And we have a way of narrowing down what will be exclusive. So, again, we don't know that process yet. But with all that in mind, can you continue to remake Halo if the base that is there is basically here, already experienced Halo multiple times, and you have a definitive way of experiencing it in Master Chief Collection, which also includes the multiplayer? And these remakes have not really added on top in any significant way. And the only things you did add were 3 prequel missions that amount to like a 1-hour story that I think was not very good at all. So if Halo 2 and 3 remakes are for the PlayStation base, but you're not doing PlayStation things with Halo anymore, then who are you remaking it for? And would it sell well? And is it worth it? So that's why I still, even with the legendary ending, I'm not even really basing it off a Rebs report. Just hearing how disastrous the entire development of this game was, I could see it where it's like, well, we're not working with that outsourced partner anymore, and we're not doing this internally because we need to focus on the next mainline Halo game. So who's around to do remakes? And if the audience for the remakes isn't there, then are you going to remake 2 or 3? It felt like a project that was greenlit as part of the Project Latitude vision that now, if they're going to go back to exclusivity, I don't think makes much sense. I don't know if Halo 2 and 3 need to be remade if Master Chief Collection is still there, very accessible. And now we're seeing like Halo 1 doesn't have a big player base on Steam. Is it going to sell well? We'll put a pin on that discussion until the time comes. I'm very curious to see how this sells. It can go either way. I could see a moment where it's like, oh, it actually sold really well on PlayStation. Like the novelty really worked. I could also see a world where people didn't give a fuck because like we've gotten Halo 1 a bunch of times. And just like with Gears of War Reloaded on PlayStation, it's like, oh, over 1 million sales, barely. I expected it to do more. With that said, there were other bullet points here, though. No multiplayer or campaign in development is crazy. But let's look one step ahead here, right? Rebs updated his reports. This was July 27th, 2026. He wrote, to summarize, if everything goes right for Halo Studios, a Halo 2 remake, a multiplayer project, and a campaign project are what's next for them. This is, mind you, a mostly speculative video. But he says the best case scenario is that the next multiplayer game is further in development than what I was told, because the next main campaign is definitely in early development and far from release. So just like a lot of salt being sprinkled on your steak here, right? And I don't know about y'all. Is that a good way to describe it? Like, I want a good steak. But when you pour the salt on and all I taste is the salt, the steak isn't good anymore, right? I think 343, I'm never going to get used to it. Halo Studios. Why did you change your name, man? Why'd you have to double down on owning this thing? Whatever they are. I think they can make a fun multiplayer experience. Halo Infinite was fun. It was just feature incomplete. It needed way more content, and it had none of that. Its seasons were embarrassing, and it wasn't until the Forge came around, the community could do it for them, that Halo Infinite got its content base, but guess what happened? The player base left. So we're hearing here that a Halo 2 remake could be in the cards if things go right for Halo 1. A multiplayer project. Let's go back through that. One thing that was shared in this roadmap is that Project Ecker was canceled. Project Ecker was this battle royale turned extraction shooter game that was converting back into like traditional Halo stuff. It seemed like a Pierre Hintz problem, according to Rebs Gaming, but we'll leave that part kind of to the side until we get more official, like Schreier level reporting. But look, a multiplayer project, it seems, was also in development on top of Ecker. and that it is more in line with a arena style Halo game. And what I don't get is, let's say we're marching in this future. Let's say by the end of this year, because hey, it's been 5 years since the last Halo thing. What are we doing? Let's say end of this year, we get a new Halo multiplayer experience that's standalone. What's this new push to make Halo standalone multiplayer and like not the complete package? Like fragmenting it up now? I feel like that isn't what Halo fans expect from their products. They expect the campaign, the multiplayer, and the Forge. It's the full suite. And we're certainly seeing Gears of War is going to deliver that. Here's your Horde, here's your campaign, here's your multiplayer. So someone's got their ducks in a row and also working on Unreal Engine. So what goes on here with Halo Studios is a pretty big question for a lot of us. And I imagine that Asha and her team are investigating. But I think the biggest takeaway from this all, right, looking into the future of Halo is this, right? One thing that's been consistent in Reb's reporting is that the next campaign is early in development and far from release. Dude, what do they even do with this next story? Think about it. I talked about this on Summon Sign. I talked about this with friends. Think about it, right? Halo 1 through 3. It really should have stopped there, but I get it. By desire, the franchise, the hype was high. We're coming off of Halo 3. Here comes this new team. I'm sorry, Reach was the last one. I apologize. They did everything, right? Because Halo 1 through 3 builds up this incredible universe, and then Reach is the perfect cherry on top. It's the perfect cherry on top. It's like, with all this context, that story hits so hard. Who are these Spartans? And just learning their story. So important, right? So with all of that in mind, now it's moving into Halo 4, and that's kind of just like we're building off of like, this is what we expect. Halo 4 is such a forgettable game. Halo 5's where the things come off the rails, right? Like, it's just now we're in a disastrous position here. You know? Because now you've mismarketed a game. People are not happy with the story. The multiplayer is a sweat fest. You've added mechanics that are very controversial. And then you take some time away. Halo Wars 2 comes out, rebuilds some faith in the franchise because, like, oh, good story. And, like, Aatrox could be an interesting villain. And here comes Infinite, which is building off the core of Halo 1, like Pacific Northwest vibes and really leaning into the essence of Chief, like action over voice. But you can feel as you play the game, this is a disaster of a development project, right? Like, it's just a game that is very sandboxy in nature. I think that's to the better, but its mission design is non-existent. Its environment repeats are nauseating. There's so much. And this Project Infinite, you might have noticed by the name, ditches the 6 because it was a soft reset. Here's the Zeta Halo ring. Here's this new storyline. The things that happened before did happen. They pretty much tried to God of War 2018 it. And that's where I tried to describe it on Summon Sign as this. Can you imagine if people are like, oh, they'll just reset again. Can you imagine if Sony dropped God of War 2018? Let's say it wasn't the Game of the Year contending title it was. Let's say they dropped it and it was like Infinite. It was like, oh, this has got some good things. It's a mess though. Like, okay. Are they going to come back and be like, all right, so we did Greek mythology, we did Norse mythology, y'all kind of thought that was mid. Here's Kratos at the beginning of his story again in a different time period, except this time it's like Egyptian. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And so that's the thing. Halo can't reset. It can move. It can try to move forward. But guess what they already did? They wrote a book about how they would move forward with Halo Infinite. They dedicated a whole book to it, concluding that story that was unfinished. The Endless trademark expired. So what is the next mainline Halo game? There's not enough interesting foundational lore with the 343 era to go and do a spinoff, because that's what Bungie did really well. Bungie was able to do things like 343 ODST, 3 ODST, because they built such a rich universe and were such great storytellers that learning the story of an ODST drop or shock trooper was really good stuff on top of all the other great shit you were getting. Right? This was in their fill the pockets bag. They were like, let's do the ODST story. Let's do the Reach storyline. Like, Chief had kind of run its course for them in a lot of ways. And they did an amazing job, I think, passing that baton. So I'm like, okay, so multiplayer might be soon, but now we're taking this fragmented approach to Halo. It's kind of sad that the most fun I can find with Halo is something that released over a decade ago in MCC, but I do not take it for granted anymore. For the record, I've been playing a lot of MCC since Campaign Evolved came out, and I am not taking for granted this ability to launch this game and find multiplayer matches nowadays. Halo is still so fun, man. It's so fun. It's important to return to it, I think, to remind yourself, like, oh no, this shit matters. There's a reason why they're hanging with it. It's still fun. It still matters, but I don't know, man. No campaign, I think, has a direction right now. And to me, the real solution here is not one that Xbox is going to do because of what we learned from the information where we saw Asha Sharma is planning to focus on Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and we just saw that recently with the statement from Bethesda Game Studios, but also Halo. Halo's not going anywhere. And I don't know if you can get rid of the studio that's kind of shepherding Halo. But my solution is put it on ice. I think people need to miss it. And I think we need, like, what this reminds me so much of is where Star Wars was at with its new trilogy. There was just no game plan. You were switching directors mid-trilogy. I thought Force Awakens was a very safe beginning. I kind of defined Force Awakens the same way Gears of War and the transition to Coalition was done. Gears 4 was very safe, but it got some of the core foundational pieces right, and building on top of it should have been better. And depending on who you ask with Gears 5, many will describe that as a Last Jedi moment. I think Gears 5 has a lot of redeeming qualities, but yeah, certainly the latter part of its campaign is not redeemable. And I know the multiplayer, which I don't really engage with much in Gears, was very hit or miss for people. That said, sticking with our Star Wars example, going from Force Awakens to Last Jedi, good fucking God, right? It's like, what happened here? And there was just no plan. And I feel like what Disney had to learn from Star Wars and how they handle that trilogy is like, yeah, you probably made a lot of money off of it, but good God, dude, like, you need a plan next time. Like, the whole Skywalker saga just had to end. And like, we tarnished history in Star Wars with that trilogy. Like, it was bad. So we probably really need to figure out for Halo what we're doing next and create a strong game plan. Does that mean a new protagonist? Can you do Halo without the Chief? This is where I get into my slanderous bag, dude. Let's be real. One of the main reasons that Halo got remade is because they had nothing else to sell you and they cannot tell stories that you care about. So they're selling you the ones that they know you love. And even then, there are additions to them. Like, look at some of the recommended material here on the sidebar. The new Halo sucks, and it's talking about this character here. I don't know who this is, but my point being is that, you know, your additions have not been a positive to this franchise. I think it's got to find a new steward, because at least when I ranked the Halo games, anything I found that they worked on was really eye-opening to be like, oh, there's a clear line here of like the best Halo has done for me since 2012 with Halo 2 has been, it's okay. But before that, and reconnecting with like Bungie era Halo, I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is so special. This is so good. It deserves better. So I really do feel like they need a game plan. They need to ice the series for a little bit and find it a new home, because I think the existing franchise, the existing base is just like beaten down. Like, we're just like so tired and just want something good and reliable to build on. And I don't know if Halo Studios is the home for that, as we've talked about a ton. So, Chad, I want to hear from you. I love to know where you stand with Halo Studios, man, and the future of Halo, because Lord knows there's a lot of ways they could go with this one. Future of Halo. Let's get this file over to Emmett, and I'll get the music rolling. Biggest Xbox issue is overall reach, regardless of player base. Many games have come and gone due to bad marketing, mixed messaging, and no marketing, etc. Yeah, I mean, definitely that was their problem earlier in the gen. You wonder if games like Hellblade 2 were so small they couldn't market themselves more, but that game didn't get a lot of marketing. Yeah, there's tons of stuff that are just kind of come and gone. Oh, man, yeah. Cowpunk says, just found out Camelworks passed away 3 or 4 months ago. What a shock. Yeah, dude, really sad. I was so upset when I learned about it, man. Yeah. I miss my dude. We hung out a lot. We talked a lot. Just really miss him. Sad. Incredible creator, but also just like really good dude. So funny. So fucking funny. I'm glad that all the videos I have on my phone are just like him and I just like goofing off. Just top guy. Really brought a lot of people together too. Should I get Master Chief Collection or the remake? You get MCC, Mithu. Definitely MCC. It's also cheaper. If you look at the end credits for Halo, it's all Chinese contractor names for the most part, and we all know how well that went the last 3 times. Yeah, like I don't blame them for trying to do contract work, but like if they tried to contract out this remake, that was already a bad idea. But then they contracted out the remake and it went so shit that the reports are that Halo Studios had to take it over, and it's like, what were you guys doing in the meantime? Man. Any hope for any Xbox games? I just want one good oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah. Let's be clear about that. Halo's in a shit spot, but like, hey, we know we're getting more Fallout. That's hype. Gears of War looks fucking excellent. Clockwork Revolution is my most anticipated Xbox exclusive. That looks amazing. Like, there's great shit on the horizon, for sure. For sure, to be clear. All right, here's Iron Rook's pitch. Halo 6, you play as Master Chief with his son and Cortana's son. Halo Cortana. You play as Cortana in the afterlife. Halo 7, back to Master Chief, and it directly ties into Cortana. Okay, I mean, it's something. I got to read on the lore. I don't know, man. Master Chief having a kid with Cortana? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Hey, we'll take it. This is a starting point for the conversation. Let me get this over to Emmett now that the files are up. Gears, I'm not sold. They're going full dude, bro. I feel like that's always been Gears, though. I think that works for them. Are you saying they aren't going full dude, bro? Really? I feel like it is totally dude, bro. Oh, no, you're good one last, Spartan. Don't worry about it. Is Fallout 76 worth playing yet? Oh, man. That's another, depends on who you ask. Like, you're asking me, so I would say it might scratch that itch for you, but it's just not the same. Like, it's not the same type of scratch. It doesn't hit the same way single-player Fallout does. You know, dude? Like, it really doesn't. You can give it a shot. There's some decent stuff. I do like the Wastelanders quest line. I almost said Steel Rain, but what the fuck is it called? Not Milepost Zero. Skyline Valley. That's a great update. I really like that. But a lot of its updates fall short. I mean, I'm interested in what's coming up. I'm interested in this prequel story they're doing. That sounds interesting, but otherwise, it's just super fucking mid, I think. It's a lot of things I don't like about Fallout. There's no like real single player drive. It's all like building and crafting and loot farming. And like, to me, Fallout's not a fucking looter shooter. Never has been. RPG Shactics, good to see you back in the building. Do you think Fable will benefit from pushing the release date forward a week? Or should they just deck it out with one of Sony's most powerful IP in God of War? You can move up a week. I think that's not a bad idea. The game certainly should be ready. Holy crap, I look like Kabuto with these fucking glasses and my hair pushed back. That was crazy. I was like, what anime character did I just see? Yeah, I think they could deck it out, though. I mean, that's my 2 cents. I haven't read the comments on my video I posted yesterday about Fable, but like my 2 cents was just that I don't think Fable should be afraid of God of War, Laufey. I really don't. And that's going to sound like tribalistic. I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying, like, if I'm Xbox, the amount of time and attention and money you've given this thing and the amount of attention it's getting and how positive it's been, like, this should be fine. It really should be. So, could they benefit, though? Yeah, they could definitely benefit from pushing it up. If they can, why not? Zensha, thank you for your super chat. 343 has needed to go for a long time. Just doesn't make sense to remake Halo 2 again. Yeah, the blur cut. I didn't even fucking mention that in the slot video. The blur cutscenes. Fuck, dude. Yeah, like, what are we going to do on top of that? They must have figured out they have bombed by now and are just clinging to Bungie's greatness. Yeah. Survival. DJ says, does anyone feel like Laufey won't be a threat to Fable? That's what I've been trying to kind of say. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, are they going to delay? Like, is it cooked now? I'm like, I don't really... It's worth discussing, like, if the PS5 sales get hurt, what that means. But I ultimately feel like what we have with Fable should be just fine. You're looking forward to Danganronpa 2x2. I modded Hope Peaks Academy into Black Ops 3 Zombie. That's awesome, dude. I didn't know that someone made a mod. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to Danganronpa 2x2. It's a shame it got delayed. With my luck, it's going to get delayed right into fucking February with everything else. If it comes out in January, though, that'd be sick. But I'm definitely looking forward to 2x2. Sorry, I'm just getting our last bit of slop up here. Pardon me. Oh, I forgot to grab gameplay for a title we're going to talk about. AR89 Synth writes, Halo Campaign Evolved looks decent to me. Yeah, try it out then, dude. Like, I mean, if you've never played Halo 1 and you don't have access to MCC in any conceivable way, and you don't anticipate you will, that's the most important part, then go ahead. You won't know the difference. But there's a lot that is, I don't think, hits the same levels of greatness, including, you know, yeah, they brought back Steve Downs and Jen Taylor, but the voice work even is, like, not great. So, yeah. Respect the opinion, though. Feel free to try it out if you have no access to the other Halos. All right, that's what I wanted to get gameplay for. Okay, got everything we need. Cool beans. Oh, you have MCC? Then yeah, Synth. Yeah, I know you're a Halo boy, as you're saying in chat, but yeah, dude, I wouldn't. I'd save your money if I'm you. You know, if you're like, I just can't help myself. I love Halo so much, but I feel like you're just kind of asking for like disappointment. You know. Maybe you won't hate it, but, like, it's just not as good. I'm not even trying to be a hater. Like, obviously, I don't like Halo Studios, but, like, it's just not. They just don't get it. If you pay attention to little things in Halo, then you'll definitely feel, I think, pretty negatively about it coming away from Campaign Evolved. Yeah, one last Spartan. That's a good way of putting it. Wait for a sale. You want to buy it on a sale? If you're like, I'm a Halo boy, I'm going to play it one way or another. Yeah, buy it on a sale. Patty, when are you traveling to Vice City? I've been procrastinating that. Uncharted Wolf. Halo, I said Halo 3. GTA 3, definitely. I just gotta keep going. Gotta grip my teeth and go for it. But I might travel to Vice City via the definitive edition, I think. I'm a big Halo fan. I'm going to buy it on sale like a year from now. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. At least to me. Played on Game Pass. That's one way you could do it. Reddit/patient gamers. I love it. That's good. Vice City is so good, though. One of the best sequels. Okay, good. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, right now I'm like in my refresh period. I'm playing Desktop Explorer. I don't know if anyone's heard of this game. Fucking fantastic little indie game, though. And it's so good. I really recommend looking into it. But that's been a nice recharge. I've been like, yeah, this is nice. So, yeah, like I went from GTA 3 to Halo Campaign Evolved. I was like, all right, I think I've suffered enough. Let me get a little something good in my veins here. I'm absolutely looking forward to the Silent Hill 1 remake. Bloober Team has completely redeemed themselves in my eye. Between Chronos: The New Dawn and Silent Hill 2 remake, they're cooking. So them remaking Silent Hill 1, yeah, sure, fuck it, dude. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Yes, one last Spartan on Steam, Desktop Explorer. Yeah, it's such a tough game to describe. It's a interactive 90s desktop where you've inherited a computer from your uncle who is experiencing a form of memory loss that is reminiscent of dementia. And as someone who's had family, go through that, I found that to be a captivating topic to explore, to put it lightly. And I think it does so intelligently, but it teaches you how much you can learn about someone as you surf through their computer, but there's a creepier mystery underneath it all about like depression and guilt, and it's kind of a dark game. It's really fucking good though, and its way of handling like old applications and how they function and how they look, and it's not just clicking around a computer and puzzle solving, it's also like some 3D stuff. Pretty fucking stupendous, dude. Give it a shot. It's sub $20. I forgot the developer's name. It's published by Outer Sloth though, so the developers who made Among Us made their own publishing firm, and they put their money into this game, and I'm glad they did because I'm very happy this game exists. Oh yeah. There's a demo on Steam. Thank you, Emo. Yeah, there's a demo on Steam as well. Really, really good. I'm Rook. Let's hear Queen's Domain on your radar. First-person action RPG. Me and Cog tried it out at GDC. Cool retro vibe. Demo on Steam. Why does that sound familiar? Queen's Domain game. Have I seen this? Let's see here. All right, let's watch this together here and see if this has been on my radar. Oh, cool. I like this style. Very, very dirty. Well, speaking of my taste, that's for sure. Oh, I love these menus. Oh. We're going to have to work on that damage balancing. We're not doing a lot of damage at all. Oh, cool. Nice. Nice. That looks great. Good shout out there. That looks really great. Damn. No release date. Over 100K wish list, though. That's good. This looks awesome. Very, very good shout out there. I love these retro style first-person games that just keep cropping up. Makes me very happy. All right, let's get our last bit of Matty Slop out, and we'll wrap up from there because I didn't get to eat before this stream because I was running late today, and I have a meeting at 8, so I need to kind of record in jet so I can like take a few seconds to unwind. So I appreciate you all bearing with me here. Let's do this, shall we? We like to call this a dirty scrolls. Like, I like that term. I might steal that. That's a good one. All right. Here we go, y'all. Last slop of the day. Join me. Actually, I need to... Dude, my fucking mouth is so dry. Okay. Let's do this for real. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for... this is not slop. Now, in 2020, you may have made the argument, and I would have possibly heard you out. But even then, I was there fighting on the front lines for Cyberpunk 2077. That, to me, ladies and gentlemen, was a peak game from day one on PC, asterisk. Look, when I reviewed the game, I did not have a lot of the tremendous issues that, went down for a lot of people, and certainly that PS4 1.0 version. Look, I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying, like, you could have called it slop then, but CD Projekt Red has put in the work, and boy, have they reaped the benefits from Phantom Liberty and the 2.0 update, because Cyberpunk 2077 is sitting at 40 million copies sold, and I gotta tell you all, that is way more than I ever expected. But that said, it really opens up the possibilities, right? What else could we do with this IP? And we know CD Projekt Red has done a great job with supporting their IP with different spin-offs. One of my favorite examples of this is The Witcher. The Witcher 3 was really successful, and they had a little team go out, and they made Thronebreaker. If you have not played Thronebreaker, I really suggest putting it on your radar. It's a really unique Witcher video game that's built around Gwent. Except it has a great story with choice and consequence as well. It is way better than it has any right to be, but it's a great example of like when CD Projekt Red thinks like a little bit small with their big franchises, what could come from that. And so we got a little taste of that with Cyberpunk Edgerunners, right? And it was so good that we're getting a Edgerunners 2, right? This anime is coming out this fall. It's debuting on Netflix, fall 2026. The rumor is October 20th. That might be official. I don't know. I saw October 20th, but anything official I looked up just mentioned the fall. But it's still, again, by Studio Trigger. And this is a new standalone story, which I love. They're kind of respecting what they did with their first season and telling another story in Night City. Now, how connected these will be remains to be seen. Otherwise, like, Easter eggs and any sort of light overlaps. But I like that they're not trying to go, okay, we know you love David. We know you love Lucy. We're going to find a way to give you more of that. I think that story needed permanence, and they did an excellent job with it. And I have very high expectations for Edge Runners too. I mean, the first Edge Runners was so memorable. Why are we setting up all of this, though? Why are we talking about Cyberpunk 2027? Why are we talking about that sales count? Why are we talking about Edge Runners? Well, a new Cyberpunk game has leaked, and I'm super excited about this one. This comes from MP First, which says that CD Projekt Red partnered with the Shantae devs on a 2.5D Cyberpunk Edge Runners brawler. And this is, I mean, we'll go through the details, but I'll explain why I think this sounds so awesome. And again, this just sounds like in that Thronebreaker pocket of like, I didn't know this really needed to exist or this could exist. It's definitely early days, so we're going to be waiting a while, but high potential here for the spinoff. So the article writes, CD Projekt Red has been hard at work expanding the Cyberpunk universe alongside Project Orion, which is like the code name for the sequel, for those who don't know. Of course, we've got things like Edge Runners and that spinoff that we were just talking about. However, that might not be the only titles in the pipeline for this dystopian future. We have discovered that CD Projekt Red has been collaborating with WayForward, the studio best known for the Shantae series, on smaller side games like based on the aforementioned spinoff show. Details on the previously unknown project originate from the portfolio of a former WayForward developer. I love this is why I love MP First, bro, because they just LinkedIn scrape constantly. This is how they scooped up details on Oblivion Remastered. This is how they scooped up details on Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Like, they have these scoops, but they really just pay close attention to what's going on LinkedIn. Anyway, they say whose name will be withholding for privacy reasons. The developer's resume details an unannounced CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk research and development project codenamed Gemini that was in the works at WayForward between 2025 and 2026. So given this time frame and the R&D label, it's safe to say this is in the very early stages, right? Like, we're concept art, y'all. Like, this is going to be a little bit, but their games aren't so massive where the turnaround time can still be pretty quick. We'll get into that in a little bit. This label typically represents a phase where studios prototype mechanics, build technical frameworks, test concepts before greenlighting full production. Unfortunately, the developer's resume doesn't clarify the project's current status, which could easily mean it's a scrap concept. Let's hope not. Despite this, the portfolio provides some interesting tidbits regarding the devs' contributions, including an internal project logo that features the Cyberpunk Edge Runners branding alongside the Gemini codename. You can see that right here. Cyberpunk Edge Runners Gemini. Will anime beat 'em up? Sign me up. Based on the brief description on the website, Project Gemini was conceptualized as a rollback-driven 2.5D brawler. This immediately brings to mind WayForward's previous work on the River City Girls franchise. Considering that both game series and Edge Runners share a high-energy anime aesthetic, blending the show's universe into a 2.5D beat-em-up certainly feels fitting. Beyond the brawler's premise, the developer notes reveal a few noteworthy technical features. Mentions of a rollback safe architecture and online transport integration indicate the game is being built with online multiplayer and rollback netcode in mind. Features also included in River City Girls' latest entry. So this is obviously huge because this is focused on like co-op, couch co-op, online co-op. I think that's pretty big there. Separate findings also reveal that WayForward has an unannounced Unreal Engine 5, or I'm saying has, past tense, had an unannounced Unreal Engine 5 project in the works based on a licensed IP. The team delivered a vertical slice for this project, but according to a developer, funding was delayed, leading to halted development and a round of layoffs at the studio in September of last year. Whether or not this project was specifically Gemini remains unknown, though we do know the mysterious Unreal Engine 5 title was in active development during at least 2025. This timeline aligns closely with given that the Cyberpunk title was worked on through early 2026, according to the portfolio data. Even if the R&D project was ultimately canceled during strategic realignments, the pitch alone shows that CD Projekt Red was actively looking to expand the Edge Runners IP beyond the screen. So that's the leak. That's the information we've got here. Let's start off at the top here. What is River City Girls? I'll put some gameplay here up on screen for you to check out. This is a kind of pixel art driven 2D beat 'em up with the River City Girls. There's two of them, and it's got a lot of personality and spunk in the animations, in the obviously the background art. It is a really excellent game. I have both River City Girls physical. And they're really fun video games, man. And as you can see, as you beat up enemies, they're dropping like coins, and you're seeing the currency build up. There's a leveling up system. It's like both a complex but also very simple beat 'em up. And I could see a Cyberpunk game kind of in light with this, just like a straight up brawler beat 'em up game driven around co-op design. I would love to see something like this. This is the development team that brought you this, and they're potentially making a Cyberpunk Edge Runners game, which I find to be tremendously exciting. And so this kind of makes sense with the general expansion of the Cyberpunk IP, because there's other ways we've seen them expand. For example, IGN covers here that Cyberpunk's kickstarted TCG was the most funded Kickstarter game ever. And I mean, it looks, some of the card art, dude, just like, golly, I can't wait. But that said, it made $25 million with over 43,000 backers to boot. And it's so funny to think about that. Cyberpunk, like this brand that we just learned sold, let me double check the numbers here. All right, 40 million copies had to kickstart something. But ignoring that for a moment, because I like CD Projekt Red, we're going to get a trading card game. This is no doubt going to hit store shelves too. I can't wait for that, because I'm still trying to fill the void of the Dragon Ball Super card game that's been left behind since like the early 2020s for me. But nonetheless, here we have a lot happening in the Cyberpunk world. Now add in spin-off games. I'd be curious to see what people think about this, right? Because certainly the Cyberpunk universe is vast in so many ways, with like, you know, net runners and whatnot, other ways to explore this universe and make games around them. And one of the things that's so beautiful about Cyberpunk 2077 is it really captures the simulation well, where you can be all these different things. So sometimes spin-offs can be self-defeating, but this sort of 2D pixel art driven retro style beat 'em up, I just love retro style games in general, as I talk about a lot here on stream. And so for me, anything that kind of follows that aesthetic, keeps that spirit alive. It's why I'm like really grateful for Square Enix and what they've done with HD2D, because it kind of ushered in this appreciation of a retro aesthetic, where we're seeing more and more PS1 style games, PS2 style games cropping up. Holy crap. Cropping up, maybe crapping up, depending on who you ask. So seeing that maybe, you know, CD Projekt Red could be doing something like that could spread the good word of pixel art, right? There are companies like Tribute that have done great 2D side-scrolling beat-em-ups, like, you know, the Turtles in Shredder's Revenge. I almost said Turtles in Time, but the Shredder's Revenge game. So I'm very excited to see what this all amounts to. Obviously, early days, I wouldn't expect to hear anything anytime soon, but it's good to know that CD Projekt Red is experimenting. I imagine their focus is still on things like remakes and Orion, but good to know that we will be getting more, potentially, Cyberpunk stuff beyond the anime, beyond the card game. They're investigating that stuff. So time will tell what it ends up being, but I'm pretty pumped about an Edge Runners beat-em-up brawler-style game, especially if you play games like... developers of Banner Saga, Stoic Studio, they made... Hold on. What is it called? Stoic Studio Games. They made a game called Towerborn. And that's one that I just really had fun with the combat flow. And if you could get some of that captured in Cyberpunk with like upgrades. So I think it'd be cool to see. Time will tell how it turns out though. Chat, I want to hear from you. How are we feeling about Cyberpunk spinoff? We feeling confident about it? A little too anime? A little too geeky for you? Would you rather the trading card game? Let me know. That's our last slop of the day, y'all. We did it. Just in time. 7 o'clock. Got time for dinner? Oh, did I forget to turn off the music? No. It is what it is. Whoops. I missed some stupid chats. Hang on. Obsidian was already working on a Fallout game, and someone went to Asha and told them because how fast she came, grabbed Fallout and sent it straight to them. Probably. I feel like it makes more sense for them to convert an existing project into Fallout and add more Fallout elements on top of it than to start from scratch again, especially if they want a new Fallout game soon. Uncharted Wolf thinks it sounds good. Baxter thinks it sounds good. Looking forward to some Cyberpunk beat-em-up stuff. Good. Have you seen Militianer? Looks crazy. I have not seen this. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay, let's check out another Steam trailer together here. Let's see, what's the description of this game? Every move you make is being followed by a colossal policeman. Anger, flatter, disappoint, deceive, or even romance him in this immersive sim. Let's peep this out, yo. Oh my god.
First, aggravated vandalism. Then theft.
What the fuck is this, dude?
Such a nuisance. And worst of all, you've tried to flee.
Oh my gosh.
Pains me deeply. But a lamb that's always lost
Oh, that's creepy.
has to be gold.
Oh, a cat. Looks cool. That's an interesting one. That definitely interesting approach to the immersive sim genre. Very, very unique. Good shout out there. They did a pseudo sequel for Lucy and Rebecca and their collab in Wuthering Waves for anyone's interest. Oh yeah, that was really good. I saw that. That was really good. Good shout out there. I'm still holding out hope for Wayward Realms. I just need it to be everything I built up in my head to be. Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. I mean, they have a good team over there, so no reason to lack confidence until given reason otherwise, I think. All right, guys. Let me get some dinner here. It's 7 o'clock where I'm at, and I got a meeting in under an hour here. So let me dip here. I apologize. I would like to hang and chat a little bit more. But thanks for hanging out with me, man. We'll be live this Friday. I anticipate I do have an episode of Sacred Symbols Plus I'm going to be guesting on, so look forward to that. But schedule might shift a little bit. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go get something to eat because I am about to pass out. I'm so hungry. Otherwise, catch you all in the flip side.